recording. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for this, the 10th episode of Beyond the Frontier. Our episode's title is Of Passions and Loss, or something like that. I've got a couple of different notifications I'm working through, but before we get going, I have to preface tonight's episode with a little bit of a heads up. As per a conversation, well, first off, for those that did not notice, we did not stream last week. And the reason for that is we decided as a group of players playing a game that we all enjoy, in a manner in which we are all having a tremendous amount of fun. Sorry, I'm also trying to get my phone to do what I want it to do. We decided that in order to continue this story in the direction that the story feels it should go, we needed to lay down some ground rules. And I'm making it sound a little bit more severe than it really is necessary, but, you know, from time to time, a player group has to do that. They have to sit down in an out-of-character scenario and talk about what they want to do with their characters in order to drive the story forward in a way that works best for everybody involved. And we have done that a couple of times. Last week was a little bit more necessary than previously, I think. That said, I am going to read our standard warning that is in every video description. Whether or not most people see it or not is a different animal. But given the nature of tonight's episode and the possible fallout, ramifications, results, and impact on subsequent episodes, I felt the need that we needed to bring this up. And I'm going to be honest. Let me read this first, and then I'll have a moment to say what I want to say, and I'll let everybody else have a chance to say something, and then we'll get into actual playing, and hopefully we won't burn all our time. From this point forward, both tonight and in this campaign in generic terms, it is safe to say that several disturbing elements may be discussed or portrayed. Some content may be difficult for some to watch. Please be mindful of your limits, and we will endeavor to be mindful of others' limits. We are playing characters in a game. The players and the game mother, myself, the GM, are separate and distinct from the people that we play. It is never our intent to make light of real problems. If you need assistance, we strongly encourage you to find the support and aid that you need. We hope you enjoy this experience as we enjoy the playing of it. And the reason why I bring this particular warning back into the fray, and again, it's always been in the descriptions since, like, I don't know, 30 or so episodes now. But the reason why I bring it up is tonight we are going to have some psychological issues explored, including potentially psychological trauma and how people may or may not respond to various stimuli. So I wanted to give everybody a chance to kind of have a heads up, a warning, before anything happens, because at the end of the day, you can only handle so much content, no matter what that content is. And you have part of your own content management is knowing when, hey, maybe I should set this down and walk away. So if you get to that point, do that, please. It's better for you to walk away, maybe not come back, depending on the severity of the situation. And that's a question that you alone, viewer, can answer. But if you have to take a step away, do it, please. It's not worth your health, physical or mental. That said, I am not at all a trained professional, and I'm going to attempt to portray one, and I'm probably going to screw it up, much like I screwed many other things up. I do inject levity, humor, because for me it's an easier way to cope with things if I'm able to make sarcastic comments. Some of these things are very heavy, and some of my comments may not be very suited for the gravitas of these things. And so some people may be offended by what comes out of my mouth. And for that, I can only apologize and hope that you understand where I'm coming from, and I hope that it doesn't deter you from coming back. That said, I want to take a moment as we do our introductions for my players. If they have anything they want to throw in regarding both themselves, their histories, or what their characters are up to in light of this, then please. Lastly, as always, there are a lot of crazy political things going on right now that are very much in the mental health orbit, we'll say. All I can tell you is be very, very careful what you choose to consume, both content and for your body. And if you need help, get it. Please, for the love of God, get the fucking help. I don't know what else to tell you, because I can't provide it for you. All I can tell you is there's phone numbers, there's websites, use them. That's really the best answer I can give. I can be a listening post, I can be a shoulder to cry on, but at the end of the day, that's about the best I can do. Rodance, please interject because I feel like I'm just going to keep rambling and we'll never actually get around to playing.
Okay, so we left off with Omar is about to have to pretend to be the NPC therapist. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Is Kane back at his desk?
He is AFK at the moment, it appears.
He's
He's
away,
muted, so.
yes.
Well,
Yep.
I'm still here. I'm just.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
okay,
eating.
good.
That's what he's doing.
It's not. I
Oh.
figured you didn't try to brand this as a mukbang channel, so I figured I'd do you the favor.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
What about
check in
banging?
with my players. Let's see what's new and exciting, and also if they have anything they want to throw in as far as words of advice or warnings for what's about to happen tonight. For Dance, please continue.
Well, my life has been ever so fun and exciting. I finished putting together all my furniture that I have acquired all of flat pack land. Yeah. I've I've got all kinds of just like personal life dramas. I
Mm.
know two separate people that have gone to the emergency room this week.
Oh wow.
One of them just got out with some stitches in their face because they went flying over their bicycle handlebars.
Ooh.
The other one got two broken legs because they went flying over a car.
Whew.
Separate incidents?
I
Yep.
really hope so. I'm sorry.
Separate incidences and about an entire continent and ocean apart.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's definitely been a bit of special.
Yeah, it happens. But thankfully they are at least on the path of recovery and not stuck
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, my stepdad is currently debating is if the VA vendor will put in the wheelchair ramp at the front of the house before he gets out of the wheelchair and can walk cripple on like crutches and one leg because he broke his femur
Ramps are
bone
always a good
and
idea.
yeah, it's one of those is like he's in the hospital until the VA installs a wheelchair ramp at the house, but
Mm.
he can start walking in 6 weeks with crutches and only on one leg. We'll see which happens first.
You know what? I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself on that one because tangents.
Ugh.
It was mentioned I was tangentializing earlier, and
Yeah,
I'm trying to avoid
yeah. So
tangents right now.
it's been an interesting week.
I bet it has. Luke, what's new and exciting? What sort of other content would you like to interject before we move on, if any content at all?
I made a YouTube video that was basically me narrating over training montage thing, and someone, actually a few people have said that I have a soothing voice on my mic and stuff. And I'm like,
do
okay.
have a fairly calm voice, and as a narrator, you've definitely got some prospects, I think, if you wanted to pursue it.
Well, no, but yeah. So other than that, I started going to college. I am studying software design. I did so well my first couple weeks that they hired me as a tutor for the program, and now I'm in over my head. So what do you want?
Sounds about par for the course.
No, man, whatever. Other than that, when it comes to like ramps and things like that, we've discussed ramps too because my partner is mobility challenged to mostly an extent, but you can get like these deployable prefabs that will just basically be deposited and then taken away when it's no longer needed. So no need for like a $10,000 bullshit.
Well, that's actually thoughtful. I hadn't.
Well,
that's not something I would have thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fun part is my stepdad was 10 years in the army, so he has VA medical taking care of it. He actually works
Mhm.
at the VA right now and like as a clerk in the mailroom or something like that. So
what will end up
Okay.
happening is the VA will find the cheaper version of one of these temporary deployable things, an inflatable air ramp, in fact.
Yeah, just like an airplane ramp that goes down and you slide down.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
like,
conspicuously bouncy castle colored.
yes,
yeah,
bright
you
red,
bounce
yellow.
your way back up.
yeah, so I don't know if you guys have been on an airplane recently, but those emergency slides, you're not supposed to sit down on them and slide. You're supposed to jump and then slide. Like you
Okay.
jump onto them and slide.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to like sit down on the floor and then slide off.
Isn't it because you'll like
Well,
hit your back or something?
I don't know. But
I'm
it was
sure
kind of
there's a reason
scary
for
having to
it.
read through the pamphlet when you go flying and they do the emergency lecture to you.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
sure
haven't
there's a
been on an
reason.
airplane in a long time.
Hmm.
You got anything
I
else?
had something at the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember what it was. We got on a tangent pretty quickly.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
take
about it.
much. I'm Mr. Tangent over here.
Yeah,
That could be my superpower, in fact.
just
My
distract people
nemesis
with
will be whatever
tangents.
the geometric or algebraic counter to tangent is. I know there is one in like mathematically. There's something that cancels tangents, like in the waveform
Um,
quadratic sort of thing. I'm using
non
random words.
sequitur. Non sequitur.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cade,
Is that a word we have to look up?
only if you want to, man. You know I'm not gonna make you look at
Okay.
it. But listen, there's tangent, sine, cosine, and then there's like the reverse of them, and it's a similar way to like
I
root, like
see.
square root and square. And I don't
Right. Well,
remember
that's
which is which, or what's
yeah.
what. But so there's tangent, sine, cosine, and then there's cotangent, and a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head. But one of them basically cancels tangents. While you're trying to figure that out, both you and the audience, that's probably lost their goddamn mind by this point. Kane, why don't you be my safety net one more time and help bring it back into what we're doing, and whatever's new exciting for you, whatever mental health stuff you want to throw out there before we get going.
I mean, I guess for mental health stuff, I mean, the topics are serious.
Mhm.
And playing characters that have experiences we don't have is always a challenge in these games.
Yeah.
So there's, when you're doing a narrative thing, it's more important to be respectful than authentic at times. So
Yeah.
a little suspense of disbelief can give an appreciation for an experience without having to be super literal about an experience and make it harder to understand.
Yeah, I certainly don't mean to offend anybody, even though I am well aware that things that come out of my mouth can be offensive, whether intended or otherwise. So, and as I mentioned, I think you might have been AFK when I said it, but one of my methods in dealing with heavy shit, as a generic term for crazy stuff, I shouldn't say crazy stuff either, but for when things get difficult, is to inject humor, and sometimes it's inappropriate. This is one of the coping skills I picked up in the military, so put some salt on that shit.
That's all I got. I'm ready for us to badly portray a psychopath and a therapist.
Nice. All right, well, we do begin in that moment when previously we were together. The last scene we did was Pike submitting to a psychic or psych, not oof, I almost said psychic and psyker at once. Psych eval. Yeah, I saw that look, Luke. Yeah, that's what my brain is doing right now. How the hell did I manage that?
You roll dubs,
Psychological
we all
of you.
die.
Yeah. A sneeze and suddenly there's 15 demons sitting in your doorstep. Our last scene was the psych eval that Pike was, I won't say forced to do, but had agreed to do it under certain conditions because of some people's insistence and, frankly, some shred of legitimacy in that there had to be at least some sort of psych profile baseline.
To be clear, Pike doesn't fucking care about the rules in this ship.
Yeah,
he just cares that this is what the captain insisted happen, and he's unwillingly doing something out of loyalty to the captain.
Yes, the first strike.
So we begin more or less where we left off. Pike has completed the physical evaluation, which included the typical, blood pressure, pulse, ox, things of that nature. And I want to imagine that
with all of his weird numbers.
Yeah, with all his elevated numbers. And I want you to imagine now that Lakota has made the effort to make this a little bit more amenable, more relaxed, less codified, for lack of a better word. She has a clipboard out. I mean, we're still in the same spot, so like, how much can you really change the ambiance here? It's still a sterile medical compartment in a spaceship, but she's tried, short of pulling out candles and things. But she does have, of course, her clipboard with a legal pad on it. You can see there's already a bunch of, like, a couple of questions and a couple of lines of empty space for writing and notes, and a couple more questions and a couple more lines. And she says, Heath, I assume I can call you Heath. Is that okay?
Sure.
How do you feel today?
In general, or about something in particular?
She gives you that motion that I just tried to do. I don't know if you saw it. She's just like,
I'm gonna need an answer if you want an answer.
answer in the way that you feel is most appropriate.
I feel alive, I guess.
Alive. You feel energized? Animated?
Not dead yet.
So this feeling is more of a I'm here as opposed to I am there. I'm alive because I'm not dead.
Yes, I'm
The
sitting
pragmatism.
Yeah, pragmatism is the question she's really asking. Is like,
here. Like, yes, I'm here. I'm not somewhere else. What kind of fucking question is that?
you answer the question, so it drives more questions out of me. Surely you've had psychological evaluations in the past.
They certainly didn't go like this one's going so far.
Well, I'm not a Marine, so
At some point, she is capable of pulling like Matt aside or something.
yeah.
I'm not there, but like she
Yeah, I
can
mean,
like
she's
get
got
frustrated and be like,
similar to military idealism, not idealism, but certain military aspects, but not in the. She's obviously not a grunt or front officer.
And the people who did most of my psych evals weren't Marines either.
Interesting. What would you say is the most prevalent thought on your mind? What is the thought that won't go away?
Are you sure you want the answer to that question?
I don't ask questions without wanting the answer first. Seems to be a waste of time otherwise, especially when I'm wearing my hat that says shrink. She's making a joke. This should be evident. Whether or not Pike picks up on it because he has one wits is totally up to you.
Is one wits, one empathy.
Yeah, exactly. Most normal people would have picked up on the fact that she was making a joke about multiple hats. This one says shrink and that one says doctor.
Foremost in my mind, most of the time, and right now, is how to kill everybody around me and how to kill the problems that I don't like existing.
Why do you want to kill everybody? What's the
I don't
motivation?
don't necessarily want to kill anybody.
But the thought won't go away. How do I kill all these people? What drives that thought? What puts that thought into place? And perhaps what keeps that thought a thought and not action?
Well, I haven't killed you, even though you've annoyed me, because the captain wouldn't want me to. I'd probably say the same for most of the crew at this point. We are a crew, so I'm supposed to kill other people to keep the crew intact.
Does this cold animal pragmatism come from a fear? Does it come from a place of, or any other place for that matter?
Reality.
And what is it in reality that puts you in a position where you think that's the first step in problem solving?
That's what life is. Things die, things kill, things compete.
Not everything in life is competition,
Knowing
though.
that that I will win those confrontations is how I stay alive and keep the things that matter alive. That's just reality. If you don't have a plan to kill everybody around you, then those people have an edge on you.
I want you to imagine
Takes a
that she
drink.
is writing furiously. Not
Yeah,
like
he just
like
has a sip
it's
of
just
water or something.
nonstop. It is nonstop, and there's a number of times where she's like emphasizing and underlining several words at a time. And like at some point, like she's just like, I gotta flip the page. You know, it's nonstop. Um, it's a survival mechanism. Kill or be killed.
It's just life.
I would argue that there's more to life than kill or be killed. Certainly, in the animal kingdom, kill or be killed is a significant portion of the life cycle, but it's not the only part.
No, we're mammals.
Certainly
So
not for
killing and
mammals.
fucking are what we do. Killing, fucking, and eating, really. But you got to have a plan for all three, or you're not a fucking mammal, I guess.
I think that she makes a face on some of your coarser language. I'm amused. Just
I'm pretty sure those are Marilyn Manson lyrics.
That might actually be. I don't know. Somebody has probably written a song about the animalistic cycle of life.
I'm not joking. It's first you gotta fuck it, then you gotta eat it. If it hasn't learned your name yet, you better kill it before they see it. It's literally the lyrics.
Amazing.
That was an accidental coincidence, but
Yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah, I think she's gonna want to continue.
She wants to conclude somewheres.
Well, yeah, like what you're thinking of, what you feel is your normal reality, is the brutal day-to-day existence, a short-term imagining, or short-term rut. There's more to life than just fighting, eating, and killing and fucking. Sure, in the animal kingdom, this is 75, 80, 90% of what an animal may get after. But are we not above that?
You think you're above being alive?
There's more to life than just surviving. And the things you have just described are simply surviving. Nothing more.
I have a lifetime of experiences that have told me that everybody who thinks differently than that ends up not in control of what they have going on around them. And I've killed a lot of those people.
Are you saying I am not in control of this situation here?
You can think you're in control. I'm humoring you out of loyalty to someone else.
So, in your eyes, is my life forfeit even as we speak? The only thing stopping you is loyalty to the captain. You know, perhaps more accurately, a fear of his displeasure.
Whims and loyalty.
Is this a common coping mechanism taught to you by the Corps? Or is this learned from some other source?
All of my life lessons came from my very strange time in the Corps.
Yes. And I want you to imagine that she was about to say something about being a supply clerk, but then caught herself and decided not to. Again, Pike, wits, empathy, both one. So decide whether or
He's
not
not going to pick up on any of that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to give you those cues, and you decide whether or not Pike actually picks them up. So, what coping mechanisms then did the Marine Corps provide for you, given your abnormal career path?
Hoping?
Yes, you certainly had to feel stress, fear, anger, resentment, disgust, defeat. How did you cope with those moments? Fighting your way out of every box you found yourself in could not be the only answer.
Well, to start with, defeat is for the dead. And I'm not dead.
I think you're
So I
equating.
suppose I cope by being alive. I don't I don't really know what the
I don't know if my son's cackling in the background is being picked up, but he is having a wonderful time on the PS5 with a couple of his friends. Or PS4, I should say. Just in case it does come up that there's a child's laughter in the background.
It is not in light of the situation.
I mean, it's actually, I think it's kind of funny that might even add to this psychological ambiance.
Jeez.
if you're if you're talking about what do people do when they've accepted defeat, then I don't know. That's not something the core does.
Have you heard of the 5 steps of grief?
No.
I thought not. I'm sorry, I'm trying very hard to not have a Revenge of the Sith moment here.
Something the
Have you
Marines
heard of the Darth Plagueis stuff?
I'm just thinking, like, I thought not. It's not something the Marine Corps would have taught you.
Hmm.
One of those steps is acceptance. Admitting, accepting, realizing that the thing is gone. This is a natural and, in fact, perfectly healthy process. Surely you have lost something yourself. Nobody lives as long as you have, as we have, without having lost something. Battle, friend, comrade in arms, lover.
I don't think she's gonna survive this.
Lots. I've known lots of people who've died. If that's what you're asking about.
Sure. I imagine in your line of work, many have died either by your hand or by your side. But not all of them are just faceless names. Surely some of them had to have mean something to you. And in losing those people, how did you cope with such loss? You are alive, as you say, and therefore you must have coped with this sort of loss.
I don't understand what you're asking about. They died. I remember them.
Tell me of somebody that you have lost, someone that you thought was important to you in some fashion. A mentor, a friend, lover?
The names of people that I lost in my time are classified.
We don't need first and last name. Joe, perhaps. Aaron. Jim. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. She did say the name Karen, but not intentionally nor maliciously. Random name generation.
Hmm.
I did it
Okay.
on purpose,
can-
yes.
I can pick a person and call them Joe.
Sure. What happened to this Joe? What capacity did he or she perform in your life until that fateful moment?
Joe was a sibling.
Okay.
Joe couldn't keep up.
Okay.
Joe got executed.
And how did that execution make you feel?
He just sort of shrugs and he's like,
Was there
it
remorse?
enforced the standard.
So
We
vindication.
knew that what happened if we failed the standard, we could not fail. So we didn't fail that test.
So what you felt was some sort of vindication or even validation.
I was strong enough to survive training. Joe wasn't.
Okay. You've obviously led men and women into combat, and not all of them succeeded in making it through combat. I want to know about one of those that meant something to you. You don't have to tell me the mission details, obviously those are classified, but another Joe or Karen or Jim or Bob or... Fuck, I can't remember Winston's first name now.
Leland.
Leland. Oh, that's not common enough. I'm sorry. What was Winston? Not Winston. What was the other guy's name? Watts. Not Watts. The one that ended up becoming a berserker. Was it Watts? What was
Yeah, it
his
was
name?
Watts.
What was his first name?
I don't remember.
Oh, I just pulled up in my notes.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, whatever that name is, she uses that. Again, she's throwing out random ass names or names that seem random to her. I'm obviously trying to trigger some smaller things here.
David.
Okay.
David,
His
there
first
you
name
go.
was
Oh,
David.
David's a real
David.
common name. That one goes all the way back to the land of Israel.
Okay. So I'm not going to be able to give you any mission information.
I don't want the mission per se. I just want to know the moment that caused their demise and how that made you feel. I think I can illustrate something here if you give me something to work with.
Okay. So a Joe.
Sure, Joe too.
He
I want you. She does write down. Like, I imagine you might peek over, and she's like, Joe 2.
all right. He got involved in some pretty gnarly combat. And as a person, he failed to continue to live. So we had to deal with what he left behind, which was really a
And-
fucking nuisance.
And you're not gonna mention Matt about all this?
Wait, he's not going to say any mission details, and he's not going to link
Okay.
any of these people to anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
As far as he's concerned, like he's not going to make it harder for anyone else to deal with her.
Mm.
So your concern is more about what you have to deal with after the fact than what you may or may not be able to do leading up to the moment.
He died, but he didn't die. That was annoying.
What? How does one die without dying? Now, I want to be clear. When she's asking, there is a certain, like, what the fuck do you mean? But she's also like, how, explain that to me in your words.
His mind broke.
Okay.
He wasn't there anymore.
Personality was gone.
Yeah.
But the body wasn't.
Body was still there. It was inhabited by something that knew nothing.
Okay. And how did that make you feel?
Like I said, it was really fucking annoying.
How do you feel as that I'm assuming this is one of your Marines. Someone you were personally responsible
With somebody that I knew.
for. Was he one of yours?
Does it matter?
It does.
Then yes, he was one of mine.
Did you feel failure in that moment?
No.
What prevented you from feeling any sort of responsibility for the situation in which he ended up in?
I put him in that fight.
Then you are responsible for what happened to him, are you not? In some indirect manner, at least.
I mean, I put him there with the expectation that maybe him, maybe the people he was fighting with, maybe all of them are going to die.
Sure. This is not an uncommon thought, I'm sure, for anybody in the military.
I thought it was more likely that they would succeed than fail as a team. And as long as all of our objectives are completed, then anybody who dies well and with respect.
And did he?
But he didn't die. He just sort of died. I don't know.
So one
I
could
don't
argue
know
that
any of
that
that
was
brain stuff.
one could argue that that was a failure of yours.
I didn't reach into his brain and turn him off.
No. But on one hand, you were responsible for what did and did not happen. On another hand, as you say, it was an annoyance to deal with what was left behind. Feeling that annoyance is part of the natural process, in that the first step, typically in loss, is rejection, a refusal to accept things the way they are. In this case, it manifested as annoyance. Is there another time in your life when something happened that you didn't want to accept it, and it made you feel annoyed, frustrated, angry, wrathful? Again, you've led
I
plenty of people
don't.
into combat. Surely you've taken significant losses over time.
I don't understand what you're trying to get at here. It made the job harder because he didn't die with dignity. Yeah, you tell me how your job wouldn't be harder if you had somebody who, one of the other people on the ship, became basically a walking, talking vegetable, and you were handcuffed to them and had to lead them around and do your job all day. Tell me that wouldn't make your job harder and get on your nerves.
Well, there are no jobs without stress. I think what I'm trying to get at is that you didn't have sufficient coping mechanisms in order to deal with these types of scenarios. And frankly, not every scenario can be prepared for beforehand. So it is entirely likely that there were many scenarios that you were not prepared for, that you did not have coping mechanisms, and you ran into them anyway. And you did what you had to do. As you say, you survived. One didn't. This illustrates some of my point in that there is more to life than survival. Survival is a key facet. There are times when we have to accept loss. We have to take what is left behind, have to work with what we have, for good or not.
I think you're just trying to make more of something than there is.
Perhaps you are not making enough of what there is.
People die.
Yes.
Accepting that they die is a necessary part of being alive. Spending a whole bunch of extra time getting wrapped up in somebody's death doesn't get anything done. It doesn't solve the next problem. It doesn't help anybody else get their jobs done.
Who would you say is the most important person in your entire life that you have lost? You've mentioned brothers. You've mentioned brothers in arms. Any others? Mentors? Leaders? People you respected, looked up to, followed? Perhaps even a lover?
I had a mentor who died.
Were you as cold and callous in their loss as you are with others?
I think they taught me a lesson that they didn't intend to.
And what was
They
that
taught
lesson?
me like you do, and they wanted me to think like that. And in trying to demonstrate that there was more to life, they got murdered. They proved my fucking point by dying. Ask me not to do what I do, my mentor would still be alive if I'd just done things the way that I've done for what is literally my entire life. Instead, my mentor got murdered.
Do you feel responsible for their death?
No.
But you said if you had done what you had always done, they might still be alive. Am I right in that assertion?
Yeah. My mentor wanted to demonstrate something, and they did. That's their choice.
But you followed them. You allowed it to happen. You didn't stop them despite what you believed to be the better path, the pipe way. And I want to be clear, she's probably heard you use that type of terminology, along with things like the pike evader. Although I don't think the pike evader happened in this campaign. That was last campaign. So you had something recently. I forget what it was. The pike evader 2 or something. I forget what it was.
Pulling people out while the water was rushing in, pushing them down.
Yeah. So she's probably heard similar terminology being used. That's why she's throwing the pike way at you. Is the pike way the only way? You would assert yes.
People can walk whatever path they want.
Sure.
I have mine.
Sorry, I got a phone. really annoying phone call, and I owe them. But no. Anyway. I think she takes a
But
moment.
I know at the end of
Go
the day, while people like you think like you do, when your life is in danger and you can't do anything about it because you're too busy thinking about how you're going to cope with the stress or the fear or any of that other stuff, those of us who don't have to cope because we just don't fucking care will have to be the ones to make sure that you get to be alive afterwards to consider the ramifications whatevers.
Ramifications, I believe, is the word you were looking for.
Sure.
You describe psychopathy or sociopathy. I, as a player, cannot remember which one's which. One of those words is accurate as fuck. I think it's sociopathy. It might be psychopathy.
Pike's not a sociopath.
Okay.
He is a psychopath.
Well, let me tell you, I've never been wrong before.
Pike is able to empathetically connect with people.
Okay.
He's not a sociopath.
Sociopath is the lack of empathy. Is that right?
Sociopaths are primarily defined by their pathological inability to be able to empathetically connect or consider the people around them.
A psychopath is something a bit more, I think, disturbing in a way. I could be wrong, but
Pike doesn't care about societal norms and conventions. He can hear them, but he feels no pressure to conform in any way with a lot of those expectations.
Okay.
Which means that he'll do things that are considered extreme to others, like just fucking murder people.
Like not coping at all, because it's just not a thing to cope.
There's a lot of the murder is the easy example, right?
Yeah,
Where a lot of people consider there's a fear associated with doing the violence, or trying to be emotionally charged to do it in order to be able to get through some of those barriers.
And meanwhile, he has absolutely none.
He doesn't have that sort of conscious level to consider his actions. He just sort of does things.
Okay.
His marine conditioning tried to get rid of those barriers to inaction and brainwash him into loyalty to the core to make sure that there was some kind of stopgap from him just murdering.
It had to be a justified murder, because if it was in defense of the Marine Corps or your Marines around you, then it was okay. But otherwise, murder is bad. More or less. Summarized.
We took somebody who pathologically has no conscience at all and convinced him that there's something more important than him. Okay. With a lifetime of conditioning from birth, basically.
Yeah.
But he is able to empathetically connect with people. He's not a sociopath.
I mean, with as much as one with a one wit or one empathy can connect with people.
Well, he has one.
It was a joke. He has one, not zero.
Yeah, he has one, not zero.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, actually, statistics and census for Canadian health was that 2% of the Canadian population was actually psychopathic, and that didn't correlate at all with murder tendencies or violent crime. In fact, people who tend to score higher in empathetic situations tend to be more of a passion crime type of statistic, while psychopaths were more likely to ignore a situation that would otherwise be very obstructive to another person.
Right.
Up until the point where that would just be a thing that happens, and that it would be like, okay, that's fine, I'm just there.
Yeah. In many ways, kind of giving credence to the way Pike is.
Yeah. It's interesting how the decision-making process is pathologically different. The considerations just don't exist.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about like the psychopathy is that like a person who is in Pike's position would think of life and death as being very different than a person in normal society too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. I think she takes a moment or two to take some notes. There's some lengthy, there's another page that goes by, and she stops for a moment, looking probably, trying to get her thoughts in order, and she says, "Some of the people aboard this ship have served directly with you in recent months or years. And I don't expect you to tell me anything that I'm not privy to because of classifications and security compartmentalizations and whatnot. It is safe to say, I think, that you have, I believe the words many in the military have used have seen some shit. Would that be a fair assessment?
Haven't we all? Unless you
No,
live in a
we
box, you see all
haven't.
kinds of
Actually,
things.
funny enough, our life experiences are significantly, vastly different. You come from.
Well, that's clear to me.
She's not going. She picks up on your hidden threat, or not threat, your hidden slap, whatever you want to call it, but she's not going to act on it. Most people have some trauma of some sort from some source. Trauma is trauma. However, the military sources of trauma tend to be quite a bit different, mostly in how they are dealt with. Some of your military training and conditioning prepares you for some of those extremities. The constant threat of life and death, taking of life, the shell shock, the post-traumatic. Many of these things are you're given a certain measure of preparation for. Inadequate typically, but some, which is better than none. Although arguably just as bad as none. The average person has their own traumas, and of course everybody is wired differently, so everybody's traumas are scaled differently from person to person. Your traumas are absolutely terrifying, but you, in your own way, have minimalized them to such a degree that they are not really traumas if you survive them. Your compatriots that are now aboard this ship, the captain being one of them, Westcott being another, Octavio Westcott being another, you guys are a tight-knit bond, yes? They are your brother and sister at this point.
We know each other in a way that you never will.
Sure, I admit that. I concede that. And I would never presume to try to step on that.
And don't forget Alita.
Yes, Miss Wright. An oversight that I did not mean to offend. If something were to happen to one of them, how would that make you feel? And to be clear, I'm not threatening them. But the safety and security of this ship...
You can threaten the three of them all you want. You won't do shit to them.
She's like, I don't understand how that even becomes a question. Like, I'm not... This is a hypothetical... Like, she's starting to kind of ramble a little bit, but, like, she's trying to stay on that point. Like, this is a hypothetical scenario. Please answer the question. I'm not trying to imply shit here.
But what, you want to know what it would mean to me if one of them died?
I would hate for anything like that to happen, but just as a case of argument.
Sure, all right. If Alita dies, I don't even really like her anyways.
So your personal opinion does come into play.
If Octavia dies, then there's a problem that I would like to fix that I can't fucking fix anymore, but at least I don't have to think about it anymore.
I want you to know...
if the captain dies, then that really fucks up my employment here.
I want you to make an observation roll. -2. Because this happens in the middle of your... I'm going to say tirade. I don't mean it in a derogatory manner. And I realize you have some low numbers, so if you end up with a 1 or less, then that's what you get.
It's observations, right?
High.
Yes.
I'm actually pretty good at that.
Okay.
Okay.
With my -2.
Now, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Oh, she picked up on the fact that you said there is a problem with Octavia that you can't fix.
I mean, it's pretty obvious to the crew that Octavia is doing her own thing, like out of character, like.
Yeah. But this is giving like this. This is like a confirmation / spotlight sort of thing. She's been, tangentially, to use that word again, but tangentially aware of that Octavia has problems. But the fact that you just mentioned it just gave me the trigger for a follow-up in the very near future. Not necessarily right away, but a follow-up in the near future. Congratulations. I got one goddamn point of victory out of this conversation. I haven't gotten everything else I wanted yet.
Well, Pike's not as smart as I am, all right?
No,
I gotta roleplay it that way.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
It would be nice if they died with dignity or died well, but can't always.
I certainly would hope that none of us die. That would not bode well in so many different ways.
You seeking immortality then?
No, we're all going to die, but at least let's finish the mission first. Maybe get back to the Middle Heavens and go our separate ways. Specifically, I would like to die far away from you, or you to die far away from me. This is my job, but even you have to recognize that you can be an annoyance. And I want you to know that she's kind of being playful, but there is a certain element of truth in underlying everything that she's saying. But she's also making a play on words from your own word choice from earlier.
Yeah, I didn't get issued a sense of humor.
I've noticed. And she's smirking when she says that. Mr. Pike, I want to be clear. I am not your enemy. And I don't say that out of fear, but out of the fact that I'm actually an ally, a support mechanism. And I realize you're psychopathic in the strictest sense of the definition of the word. Your wires don't always connect the same way that the average person do. Problems are not the same thing to you as they are to the rest of us.
When
That
I was
said-
young, it
Sorry.
was explained to me that I wasn't going to think like other Marines.
And it's
that
obvious you
my
don't.
my brain had been altered, and my training was very specific to take advantage of that.
Your people have done a wonderful job of extolling all the virtues of that and making it profound. And then somehow managing to multiply even that. That said, you do have some sort of compass, twisted and askew as it is. It's obvious that you still have some sort of compass within you.
Compass? What do you mean by compass?
Morality. You're not killing simply because you can. You kill out of necessity. The definition of what is needed and what is not is slightly different, or significantly different, in your mind versus what I would consider justified homicide. But I also equate some of that, a fair portion of that, in fact, to your military upbringing. That said, I feel it is safe to say that you do not present a threat to yourself, your ship, your crewmates, but you do present a certain necessity of overwatch.
Overwatch.
I will be keeping an eye on you.
Oh, like you have been already?
I can't help but wonder if you're like trying to put a dig on her, or if you feel like she's not been doing a very good job. But I feel like she's been trying her best. uh, Mr. Pike, it's my intent to look out for the psychological well-being of everybody aboard this vessel, and that does now include you. Take that as you will. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you think that I'm a particularly good liar?
You are either damn good or you're just not.
I've never had a need to really be good at lying. It's really just a waste of my time in most cases. I'm not that complicated. I am very dangerous, but the captain asked me to be part of this crew. Which means I don't have to like you at all. I don't even have to respect you. But as long as you're a member of his crew, and we both work for the man, then if somebody messes with you, I'll just fucking kill him. But
And you
you're
wonder
a
why
crewmate.
I feel the need to keep an eye on you.
But you're a crewmate. So Unless he asks me to, I'm not going to kill you. Or anybody else on the ship.
She's making a note to now follow up with the captain,
If
which was already on her plan anyway.
you want to try to find something that's going to take a lot of brain power and puzzling and monitoring or whatever, you should look at figuring out whether the mechanic's a spy.
Finn? No, wait, Finn's the pilot. Nina?
No, the other one.
Interesting. Very small scribbling.
Yeah.
Very small.
I'm terrible at lying, and I'm very loyal to the captain. I don't care what this ship does. He could steal this ship. I'm going to stay loyal to him. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to monitor. You can waste your time doing it. I don't fucking care. But if you want to respect your own time, pro tip.
With that said, Mr. Pike, how do you feel now?
Still alive.
I have nothing further. Unless you have anything for me, you're free to go.
Was I compliant enough?
Don't worry, I won't be talking to the captain about how you did not participate.
All right.
We'll be talking about many things to the captain, but that is not one.
It's your time. Hey, he'll get up.
He's gonna sit there and watch you leave, and I think the camera will linger in her clinic or whatever as the door closes, and she's just gonna be like,
I have to imagine like he leaves and she's just like, nope, he is absolutely a fucking psycho.
"Oh yeah." I
How
want
did
to
anybody
imagine
ever
that
love
somewhere
this
along the
guy?
way, the camera pans from her and her like, fuck, and it just kind of pans over some of her notes, and there's a word, psychopath, capital letters, underlined several times.
But I have to imagine somewhere in her mental dialogue where she's like, what the fuck? It's just like, how did anybody love this psychopath? What the fuck is wrong with that person?
Yeah, and she doesn't know anything about Karen, by the way, other than, she's heard rumors, but that doesn't mean anything.
For the audience, he talked about Karen as a mentor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I picked up on that. I definitely picked up on it. She didn't. Monroe would never have known. She would have assumed some sort of like Zamborsky sort of relationship.
That somebody involved in his training and upbringing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen was his chance at trying to learn to be a more complete individual, and
it is an interesting way from within the narrative to see that that's how Pike is choosing to deal with her loss, is that she wanted to try things her way and he said okay, and it didn't work. I'm going back to my way, which, to be fair, is not terribly difficult for a logical assumption to make. All right, my friends, we have a couple of hours left before the ship arrives at the Blue Jay colony. I will leave it
immediately after Pike leaves the infirmary, I would imagine.
Are you in the hallway outside the infirmary waiting?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, come on in.
No, I was waiting. Pike comes out.
Yeah, the door open. Pike steps out and sees you. Captain.
Yeah. Wright's also there.
Alita.
Pike.
And he'll just nod and turn if they don't try to keep talking to him.
No, I want you to imagine in that moment of the three of you standing there looking at each other, the doors close.
And then they open again.
One of the androids, one of the working Joes wanders by, sees Pike, does a 180.
I still don't know. This is great.
Yeah. It's completely nonchalant. So like the work. Let's say it's Marty, right? She walks up, she sees Pike, nods to the captain, does a little half nod to Alita, and just 180s right back, and at a distance of a few meters. So it's not like they got close to you or anything.
So
for the audience,
the best thing I've done so far.
Like for the audience, like the way that like he nods to each of them as like an acknowledgement and leaves. He has not done that kind of acknowledgement with any of the non-Marines on the ship. So there's that signaling to Alita that Pike still respects her, but he doesn't have to like her. He just respects her.
No. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're as soon as the door closes and she literally goes like this and goes, ah.
Yeah.
In goes Captain and Alita.
Oh, so the two of you are coming in?
Yep.
Okay.
No break for you.
Yeah. I think she's like
Next crisis.
You catch her literally as she's like, "Oh, Captain, I wasn't expecting to see you so soon." And Alita, please come in. What can I do for you?
Thank you. So I just wanted to make sure that all of that was to your liking. You've been asking
was
for it for
not.
quite a while.
It was not to my liking. And she looks between the two of you, and the read that you should take is that she's not sure how much she can say in front of Alita.
Yep.
She's obviously one of your security people, so theoretically can say a lot, but she needs confirmation. She's lingering on some of her word choices here.
Okay. So how much of that are you going to report?
To you, all of it. I'll
All
have
right,
a report
perfect.
here shortly for you. I just need to, and she waggles her little legal pad. I'll have to type it up for you, but
That's perfectly fine. Um, if you have any questions, now's the time to so we can clear up some things if possible. Other than that, I am going to be pulling a meeting very soon
okay,
with the crew.
very well. I don't have any questions yet. I need to process a lot. There's a lot here for me. And she points at the pad. There's a lot here for me to digest. But surface takeaway, he is a psychopath. But something in his conditioning has kept him more or less wired in a general alignment with most of human society. Don't kill without a justifiable reason. Perhaps what's justifiable for him is a little bit more loosely translated or interpreted than for the rest of us, but generically more or less decently aligned. I'll have to go through my notes and give you a better read.
He acts out of necessity, and he's our psychopath.
That is certainly a way to look at it. Yes. So I don't know if that's the right way to look at it. That is certainly a way.
That's great. Our psychopath.
I mean, you're saying something like that to
though.
the ship's counselor. I don't know how she's supposed to respond to that. Like, because generically, psychopathy is not a good thing. So,
No.
that said,
Okay,
there
so
was one thing I did pick up on, Captain, that you should be aware of if you're not already. Octavia Westcott. What's your read on
yes,
her?
my drinking problem.
Your drinking problem? I want you to note that somewhere in the back of her little brain, the shrink is in light just kicked over.
Yeah. Well, Octavia has been acting out lately a little bit more than usual.
Okay.
At the start of this journey, she was quite the team player, at least in some concept. But I do need to see what we can do about her particularities. But I think that's going to require a little bit more finesse.
I have in mind to speak with her soon. Not
Okay.
necessarily a high priority, certainly elevated, but not immediate. Unless you feel otherwise, ... I think she actually says ...
Well, I think we're going to be able to determine if she's going to be a team player today or not by the soon-to-be meeting that I'm going to pull into the briefing room for the whole crew. I am going to name you as one of the people for the crew to go to if they have any questions or concerns. Is that something you're comfortable with?
I am the ship's counselor and the ship's medical officer. I would hope they come to me.
Okay.
And I want to note that there's a certain strain in her voice It's subtle. It's a subtle thing. She's saying it in the, I think she's recognizing at least somewhat, on not necessarily even a fully conscious level, but recognizing that maybe she's wearing a lot of fucking hats.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, she is the one wearing those hats. So she's definitely, yes, please, they need to come see me if they have problems, especially if they are physical or mental.
Excellent. What is your general consensus on the crew, other than Pike and Westcott?
Well, Pike is a psychopath, and Westcott is a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Who
and
should we be watching out for? What's going on the ground floor?
Give me just a quick second. I can't.
I'm
remember
throwing
which
the
one.
hard questions.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm glad somebody's throwing them at me because I can't have them all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. She.
Yeah.
That's not the one.
Let me pull up my PDAT.
Yes. I have concerns about Hamida Amir.
Hamida.
Yes. I realize she's your chief of security. I am concerned about her political leanings.
Well,
She seems to be vocally dissident to the idea of the new Albion Protectorate, and that could become a problem in the future. Now,
yes, Albion online.
and this is where she explains in detail that she could probably do better than I can, but basically that the new Albion Protectorate is a breakaway state from the Three Worlds Empire, and that this is causing a massive point of contention for many that hail from that region, including Hamida, who is against the breakaway, and Monroe, who is for the breakaway. She's simply playing her for the breakaway card in the fact that if you're not with us, you must be against us, and Hamida is against us, therefore she's not with us. And she's trying to be subtle about it, but she's not very good at it.
Yeah. So basically, this is just a one NPC versus the other NPC.
Yeah. This is absolutely going to boil down to some sort of he said, she said bullshit.
Yeah,
which is also
100%.
another line of lyrics, but regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's basically like, yeah, no, I would be keeping an eye on Hamida. I know she's your chief security, but she's pro Three Worlds Empire. That could be a problem for anybody from the Empire that is pro New Albion.
Okay. I will watch that and I will read about that whenever I have the chance.
Yeah.
Fluff story. So let's see here. One of the concerns, let me just see. Not that you have to divulge any information. Sorry, I'm thinking in French these days because of school.
Sure.
So it's hard for me to say words.
I will try to keep it the best I can. I don't parlay any Francais, but
No, yeah, it's terrible.
I know a few
No
words,
one
only
speaks
because they
French.
happen to be English in nature. And by English, I mean we stole them from the French.
Okay. Let's see here. We
Like
have
the-
Hamida. What is your opinion on Tan Blatchman without saying anything about his file? Has he been particularly stressed out by anything lately?
Well, first, Captain, I should point out that this is your crew and that there are certain liberties that you get that other people wouldn't. That said, there has to be a certain amount of confidentiality, otherwise my position
Absolutely.
is moot. Now, in the case of...
Just the ground level, is he stressed?
I would imagine he is no more or less stressed than anybody else. Maybe a little more
Okay.
because he's an inspector, but I feel like he imagines problems in every lockbox. Maybe there are. I'm not an inspector.
Problems in every lockboxes.
When you're a hammer, you go looking for nails. In his case, he's a customs inspector for all intents and purposes. Everybody's crossing the border
Yes.
illegally.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. I am not making a political statement relevant to the real world. This is just trying to explain Blatchman's point of view. Please don't come at me with that bullshit.
No, we're in space 80s right now. Don't worry.
I just want to make sure that nobody reads too much into my bullshit.
Okay. Damn it, where was I going with that?
Blatchman stressed.
Yeah. Uh,
He's
before we
saying
started.
effectively that, he's probably slightly more stressed than most because of the nature of his job, but otherwise he seems fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. This is where I was going with that. Just for a refresher, I remember speaking to the robot person on the Iliana,
Yes, Gaius.
Gaius. Thank you. He said that we were working for Wayland Yutani, right?
Yes. Your contract even
Like,
says as
just
much, but they're
yeah, but they're alluding to
so
like way more
you
involved.
guys are signed on with Wayland Yutani, but the vibe check is that this is a multinational, multi-corporate endeavor, and everybody should be working for the greater good. Gaius has basically said, fuck that. You work for me, you work for Wayland Yutani, and we expect results or your position.
For Wayland Yutani.
Yes, results for Wayland Yutani or your position as captain of that ship is highly suspect.
Got it. Okay. The point I was going to say, actually, no, that's not going to be really relevant. So I guess I'm just going to have to pull that meeting now.
Sure, if you're ready for it. I don't know, do you have anything you want to do before he pulls this meeting?
Yeah.
Or Kane, for that matter?
Seeing as she is technically still in hiding in some miscellaneous location phase, I have a feeling that Pike will be the one grabbing her and bringing her to the meeting.
Actually, now, this only works if it works out this way, but I think it would be hilarious if the meeting takes place where she's hiding. I don't know if that would actually work with where she's hiding, but I think that would be hilarious if that were the case.
So I have two particular contingencies for this. One
Kane, you're muted.
is
If you're
Kane,
trying to say
you're
something.
muted.
I'm sorry? Luke?
I have two contingencies. One is the meeting happens without Pike and
Octavia?
Octavia, or it happens with both of them.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like they're not going to be there for that particular meeting.
It's up to y'all how this plays out.
Yeah, it's up to them.
Now I interject my bullshit and you guys tell me to fuck off with it, or we roll with it.
I mean, I was gonna go find her after getting out of medbay.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll let you.
So yeah, Luke, if you got anything else you want to do here, that's cool, and then we'll move to those two, and then we'll move back to you for your meeting. Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else while you're still talking with Monroe?
No, I'm not mentioning the Wailing Utah anything yet.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I feel that would really piss off Pike.
Yeah, I think in that case, she just simply, at some point adequate to the conversation, she'll be like, "Is there anything else?" And then she'll close with, "I'll get that report to you probably in the next hour or so."
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Of course. I almost said something about we live to serve, but that sounded a little too 40K-ish. All right. Rodance and Kane. I believe you guys are up next.
Yep. So,
or perhaps one of you. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Or is that you're looking for the Octavia role?
No, that was observation from earlier.
I mean, do you want me to roll, or have I already figured out how you hide?
You probably figured out how
I could say you've found her a couple of times via rolling. I think it's arguable that you would have figured out her patterns.
You know,
by now.
like the ordered list in which she hides.
Yeah.
While you're looking, you do see hear over the radio that I need everyone in the briefing room 30 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. I go find Octavia.
You
I
get
do
a-
it like when I get closer, I look around, make sure nobody's following me. I'm not trying to give away her hidey spots.
I legit think she's just chilling in your bunk right now.
Okay. Like
Because you're sleeping in hers, so technically.
That's true. So he'll lay down in your bunk and just chat with you then. No, the shrink's gonna be looking for you.
Of course she is. How'd your talk with the shrink go?
Well, she knows that her continuing to not be dead by my hand is by whim and loyalty to Matt. She pisses me off.
I can believe that. What is I've been avoiding her this entire time because I don't really want to talk to her. So
Yeah, I thought you might be, so I tried to be a little bit more in her face.
Mhm.
But it seems like Matt wants us to play nice with her.
He hasn't said anything to me about it.
Probably will.
I look at the clock. How long until we arrive at the planet?
Uh,
This is an arbitrary number because I'm just looking how long it's going to go until
yeah, it's roughly
Luke's
2
alarm
hours.
goes off on his PDAT again.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours before you guys touch down. Or arrive in orbit, I
Uh,
should say.
How are you doing today?
Are we still rolling with yesterday's empathy roll, or are we rolling with today's empathy
I
roll?
made a note because you rolled for the start of the session.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think we can go ahead
I
and
made
say
a
that.
note so we wouldn't forget because you
Yeah.
finally succeeded.
Yeah.
Right.
I think today.
Well, that was a good
How
thing
about?
because it would have been really, really bad if she had failed that because she would have failed 3 empathies in a row.
Yeah, I think maybe she's team player mode on, but she's also maybe a bit exhausted to some degree.
I mean, it's
But
not like
otherwise, I don't want to say compliant.
I
But
mean it's not like depression turns off. She's just in she's in a functional part of the spectrum right now.
yes, yeah.
She isn't pissy or hiding or other miscellaneousness.
Yeah,
I
she's just there.
She's just lounging
Yeah,
right now.
kind of an in between phase.
hmm yeah, just chilling. Um, kind of really over this hurry up and wait bullshit.
Well, you didn't think you were going to get away from that when I got you out, did you?
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of hurry up and waits we have to do around here. I mean, I get it. Starships fly, all that jazz. But it's a lot of I'm probably gonna we're like a couple hours out. So I already got my nice nap in.
At least you technically have a job when the ship's underway.
Look, they could make you like snipe hunt.
Like when we land, I can stay busy, but I got fuck all to do when we're in space.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, isn't it?
I'm not used to being awake this long and not doing things.
I mean, you could always just ask them to leave you on ice extra one day just so you don't have to, but you might as well, if you're going to do that, you might as well just enjoy the nap time. Be awake and take a nice nap.
I mean, that's tempting, but what happens if somebody fucks with one of you?
Exactly. They'll figure it out though. Um, this Blue Jay thing that we're going to doesn't have an awful lot of much good information, but that's what happens when nobody flies by a place for fucking 30 or 40 years.
I think I'm going to
Century or
take
two.
myself a little vacation there, go on a hunt. Maybe drop my radio. It might break for a couple days.
I roll over and I look at Pike and go, sounds kind of fun.
You want to come?
Sure. I'm sure they'll survive for a couple days. I think Matthew is
Actually, I
finally
love
figuring out how
this.
to use a computer.
I want to be clear. I'm laughing because you guys are saying this, and I know exactly what's waiting for you. So this is fucking amazing. Go ahead, please continue.
I'm loving this.
Yeah, like I could definitely make a nice argument that I'm allowed to go poke around and look at animals and shit.
Flora and fauna.
maybe going and I mean it's a sandy, dusty type planet, but make some sort of instead of touch grass, touch sand. I don't fucking know. Say
Go
it's for your
collect some
mental health or something.
cactus.
Yeah, go look at cactuses or something for I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure they're maybe get some funny looking rocks or something. Stuff that
Yeah.
doesn't, try to take over the ship.
Oh,
Have you has
I don't
Nina
know.
made a giant ooze come out of the coffee maker yet?
I'm not touching coffee. Nobody wants me to touch coffee. Your sister's fucking with the coffee machine though.
Yeah, she does that all the time. The entire time I lived with him, she couldn't leave the fucking coffee machine alone for 2 days. She literally had an entire like kitchen table covered in coffee machines. Like, I don't know what the fuck her obsession is, man.
But it's not even just a like mechanics thing. It's like a weird coffee fixation.
Yeah. Like, there was more coffee machine than there was dining room. But you know, my brother puts up with it, so that wasn't really saying much. It's their apartment, you know.
They're real close shields about you. I don't think they
Mhm.
like me. Not that it really matters, but
Yeah. They don't like anybody initially, but that's kind of the background. We grew
now
up
is it
orphans and kind of
now is it because they just enjoy being obstinate, or is this like an actual loyalty?
they the system isn't a very great place to live. Much like think like an incompetent Mama Marines. Like even more so than the normal Marines, like super incompetent. That's kind of like where the orphanage system lives around here in the systems. So you basically after like 10, you're kind of on your own. It's really not fun. And we three stuck together and watched each other's back, and now that's kind of where we're at there. Much the same way you learn to watch everybody else's back while you're in the Marines.
Hmm. Okay.
So instead of fighting, fucking Xenos and shit, we were fighting government bullshit and people who didn't like treating orphans like they were people. Becoming a corporate slave is like the primary hobby that they seem to think that orphans want to do, and we're like, nah, we're good.
And we're here on a multi-corpo mission. They got all of you anyways.
Eh, I think they're a little bitter about that, but
I
that's where Matthew was, where you were. They thought it was a good idea, and I went along with it. And now they're here, and they're like, they're not so sure about it. That makes them defensive, or something like that.
I'll
Over
try
the
to keep
radio
it up.
reminder, 5 minutes.
Are we gonna actually show up to the meeting?
He said to go. I work for him. I'm going. Am I bringing along an excuse for you?
No, no. She gets up and puts on something other than pajamas, and then she heads out with you.
We go to the meeting.
Right, Luke.
Actually, no, I take it back. She rolls into the meeting in pajamas because that's about the
Oh.
speed.
But she did run a brush through her hair.
I
Maybe.
like
Maybe.
I like to think that
Listen, just
some-
one. Just one time.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know. It was funny when I said it.
I like to think that at some point during these hours we've been awake on our way to Blue Jay that I've found a ball cap with the Solovetsky Island on it.
Oh yeah.
I'm,
you-
I'm
have you
wearing I'm
crimped
wearing
the
a
bill and
Solovetsky
everything?
Island hat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only
Yeah,
other thing you
the-
can do with it is wear it backwards as it's some form of like defiance or something. I don't know.
No, he's trying to signal to the captain, look at me putting in this effort to be a team player. I'm even wearing the jersey.
All right, Luke, it is time for your meeting. Everybody is there. The ship's more or less on autopilot at this point. I mean, the
It's
ship
just
really,
drifting in, I guess.
yeah. I mean, like it's on a trajectory. What's the word I'm looking for? Ballistic trajectory. It doesn't. You don't need to do anything until you need to change it. So
Right.
at this point, all of your flight staff, all of your other people are there. Like the whole ship crew is in the briefing room or whatever it was you wanted. Basically, everybody's kind of milling about. There's a couple of people, jaw jacking about this. Somebody's giving jaw jack jokes, stupid comments about that. Hamida and Lakota are looking at each other disdainfully, distrustfully from across the room. One drinks
great.
coffee, the other drinks tea.
Great. Let's add a little drama there. I walk in and I see our fantastic friendly security chief, and I give her the up nod acknowledgement as I walk in the room.
I want you to imagine that Lakota watches that without watching that.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know you don't care. That's why she's and that's the best part about it. You don't give a shit, but she's definitely taking note of who's taking sides here. The two UPP guys, Dublins and Dudge, are not interacting with each other. They're in the same shared space, whatever, right? But they're not like chummy. Finn and Nita are looking about frantically almost, waiting, watching the doors for Octavia to show up, and when she does, there is a notable sigh of relief type body language from the two of them. And then they see Pike and they're like, oh, never mind. They don't say any of this. They kind of go their separate ways to separate corners. Marty and Joe both arrive, and as soon as they see Pike, they just turn right back around and head back off.
And Emily and Tan are there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody's there. Emily's there.
All right, perfect.
In fact, if anything, Emily and Tan happen to be sitting next to each other by virtue of being the two loners of the ship. One's a prospector, the other one's an inspector. Rarely do their paths cross.
I like Emily. I help pack her stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She even gave me a nickname.
She did, and I done forgot what it was.
I'm her gringo.
Gringo.
Oh yeah.
Because I started talking to her in Spanish, and she was like, "Oh,
No, please stop.
you're my gringo now." Okay.
All right, so Alita's gonna be sitting somewhere in the corner as per whatever last one to show up, except for Matt, which shows up through whichever doorway requires to be entered towards, which is probably whatever.
Yeah, when you arrive, most of the crew, other than the player characters, I'll let them figure out what they want to do, but most of the crew basically stands up. If anybody doesn't stand up, it's more of like they don't catch on quite quickly enough that you just walked into the middle of a conversation or something like that.
With my one eye, one arm, and one leg, I salute them. I say, "At ease, everyone."
Oh, they did not do this out of like military precision. So some of them are looking at you like, "What? This is not a military ship." But they all take their seats, or go back to lean against the wall or whatever they were doing.
You know what? No, Pike's gonna be a dick.
Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are, you son of a bitch.
So when Matt steps through the doorway, a Pike will very loudly say, "Captain." Just like, hey, everybody, shut the fuck up. An acknowledgement, but he's not calling the room to attention because he knows that's not like the thing.
That's not a thing. I think it's when you say captain, is when like the last two or three who weren't paying attention or don't give a shit. That's when they're like, oh, and they make a show of standing up, but not very quickly. And then when he tells everybody to stand easy or whatever, they'll go back to what they were doing.
Sit down again, do whatever you want, but listen up. So, let's see here. So he walks up to the is there like a hollow table or something?
Sure.
It doesn't really matter.
You got a hollow table.
Let's just say there's
a wall that you can draw.
Let's say
on
it's a blackboard. Yeah, like a blackboard.
Well, I mean, it's more like a dry erase board, but yeah.
Yeah, all right.
They at least have those in the
Space
80s.
Space 80s has dry erase tables. Got it. So hello. Nice to see everyone in the same room for probably the first time in a long time since this ship has even started flying. So up until now, I've left you all to your own devices and jobs, as everyone knows their part on this ship. Honestly, we're gonna be up here for a while, and I want to be able to take the time to address any concerns and comments floating about this ship. If you don't want them out in the open, use electronic postal service, whatever the PDAT system is, on the ship and make an appointment with me or Lakota. Just so we're clear, yes, I'm inexperienced in leadership roles. Yes, I was a Marine before this, and as you can tell, I've seen stressful situations, so excuse me. Good enough to function is this ship's motto, no more. So have at me. So any questions, comments, anything we need to get out in the open here so it can function as a ship?
Lakota is giving you a look similar to the one that she gave you earlier when she mentioned Hamida. And for a brief moment, she looks at you, looks at her, looks back at you. She doesn't say anything. Because about that time, she realizes that everybody's kind of looking at her. There's a couple of people, let's say it's Dudge and Finn, that are kind of cracking jokes and maybe doing a knuckle bump or something like that in the back. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, cool.
Nobody really has any questions. I think you get a couple of eye rolls because you get like, I want you to imagine that for the most part, you're like, hey, I just want to get everybody together. I want to thank you for doing your job. Everybody has a job to do. Blah 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 blah. And everybody's like, yes, we have a job to do. Can we get back to it now? Because I have a job to do.
Yeah. Well, since everyone's going to be sitting around and waiting all this time anyways, anyone have any comments to do about the Blue Jay colony we're approaching? Emily, you have anything from the science officer yet?
It's a desert planet. They, for at least part of the colony's lifetime, they had to import water. So either they found it or they found a way to keep it coming. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything down there. It's pretty effing hot down there. So bring your sunscreen.
Okay. And what about the flora and fauna? Is that still not even a thing?
Let me double check my notes. I think this is the one that had one of those
Yeah,
large
there is
diversity.
It has the
supposedly,
full. It has the full ecosystem.
diverse
Yes, by complex.
ecosystem down there, but without having any eyes on it lately. I mean, it's like saying our information is very out of date.
Yeah.
Probably.
Katana is also
Global warming.
Oh,
I'll
go
need
ahead.
to do a patrol to get an idea of how the local fauna reacts to our presence. Make sure there's no increase in risk for anybody getting off the ship.
Yeah, I think Katana says something to the effect of, we won't know for sure until we're there, but, hopefully they don't have big swarms of bugs like they did at the last place we were at. Or the
Yeah,
one
that
before that.
really did
Whichever
suck.
one it was that had the gigantic swarm of nasty bugs that were killed by an electric fence until the electric fence went down.
Yeah, that was 2 ago.
Yes. Sure.
I remember that planet
It all
fondly.
bumbles together when you're in cryo sleep all the time.
Yeah. And Octavia, how has the sciencing happening? It's kind of a pointed
Well,
question.
Do you have your PDAT
so-
with you, Octavia?
Yeah.
I realize that may have been a dumb question. I just needed to
Okay,
make
so
sure.
I tap, 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 tap. Kaboom. Poop. Make the map better.
Okay.
I actually put a map
When
on the
you
wall that's been updated with our sensors from only 2 hours out.
Yeah, so when
Okay.
you do put that up, it should be noted that there are 3 signal sources coming from the surface of the planet. One of them is in the southern hemisphere, another one in the northern hemisphere, and then one relatively equidistant in between along the equator. There should also be noted that in one of, let's say, a sidebar of this display is some meteorological information, and it looks like there is just nothing but a string of storms to hit along the equator. It looks like if you picked any place on the equator, it's getting hit by a storm every couple of hours.
That's
Terrible humid storms.
Let's clarify what type of storm.
Let me see.
Dust?
I think it is dust storms. Let me double check. Let's see. Might be in my notes. May not be on the planet thingy. Okay, so in the handout for this system, the equator has vast and frequent Coriolis storms, and that's that's what's being displayed initially. You won't have any additional data just yet.
I am looking at what a Coriolis stone is. Oh, wow. That's
So I could tell you we have
like
them on
tornadoes.
Earth. They're basically massive storms that are fueled in part by the orbital energies of the planet. So like
yeah.
our atmosphere is caught in the gravity of our planet's rotation, and some of that energy can be added into the storm for an increased power in the storm. If that makes any sense the way I'm explaining it. Depending on how the storm develops and what direction it moves and things of that nature. That's a very dummy's guide to Coriolis storms.
What do we know about the people who are supposed to be here?
Do I have any information about that?
Yeah, I'm double checking. Population, an exact population number is unknown as of 2100, about 80 years ago, and therefore,
Okay.
obviously, no hard numbers now. You are picking up 3 signals from the planet's surface. Let me check my actual
I
note
mean,
notes.
even if there's no precise number, what sort of magnitude were we looking at? Hundreds of thousands?
I mean, it's a
Dozens?
10,000 kilometer planet. 1G. It's a pretty big planet.
All right, so there is a small signal in the northwestern part of the planet and another slightly larger signal
Northwestern.
in the southwestern region. A third faint signal emanates from the equatorial region, roughly halfway between the first 2 signals, but a nearby storm is threatening that sector, with more looking like they're lined up to hit every few hours over the next several days.
So northwestern?
Yep, northwestern and southwestern both have signals coming up.
Okay.
The southwestern one is slightly more powerful than the northern one, in that it's a more steady. Let's call it like a more steady beam, for lack of a better way to
Okay.
phrase it. The third signal along the equator, about halfway between the first 2, is much weaker. But all 3
Okay.
signals are persistent.
So what do we know about the oddly colored forests of low desert shrub brush? That's a low signal area?
No, that's just the terrain or vegetation or what have you.
No, but I mean that's the southwestern area, right?
Yes, so the signal is emanating from that area.
Okay. I think we should hit that place first. Any objections?
Wait, do we have any idea of the magnitude of how many people were supposed to be here? Hundreds, dozens, hundreds of thousands? Even if we
We're gonna
Unfortunately,
have to take readings as we get
Yeah,
closer.
I think you get something from Blatchman who's like, unfortunately, all our records indicate that there may have been thousands at one time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there are less or more. We won't know for sure until we arrive.
I mean, even just knowing how many people landed and tried to start the colony. If like 900 people landed and we don't fucking know if they picked up more people or not, or if they're all dead, like that's whatever. But
Tan just shrugs. I don't have that information. For whatever reason, the records were lost, never properly updated. I don't know. We don't have a solid number of how many people were here 80 years ago. And we have no way by that information, we have no way to conjecturalize or hypothesize how many are here now.
Octavia, those signals, based on how strong those signals are, do you think you could hazard a guess what kind of equipment would be needed to have that kind of signal strength?
Yeah. So question.
Yep.
I get signals. Did the signals say anything?
Give me comspec -2, given your distance. I realize you're only about an hour or so out, but okay. The signals that you're picking up are more electromagnetic emanations, more in line with power sources than they are radios and communications devices. Basically,
Power
infrared
sources are
type
good.
stuff. So you're picking up now all 3. I want to be clear, like all 3 signal sources are roughly the same. It's just that some are more powerful than others, or more persistent. No, more. I can't think of the right word. Yeah, potent. Really, is probably the best word. So the one in the south
Yeah.
is the strongest. The one in the north is the next, and then there's a faint third one along the equator.
Yeah, we're not
And the
hitting the equator yet
equators-
until we know more about it.
And the equators where all the storms hit, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Is the equator one like a engine signal? Like a ship engine signature?
Given that you have 3 successes, I will give you this. It could be a powerful signal, but degraded because of the storms. Meaning that it could be
Okay.
actually powerful, but what you're receiving is degraded because of all the storm activity.
And is there any satellites or anything like that in orbit for signaling or
No,
anything, navigation or weather?
nothing. There, in fact,
Okay.
to your best information, there are no artificial satellites. There is a moon around the planet. You're passing by it. It's gonna make a great cinematic establishing shot at some point as you float by
nice.
the moon.
3 asteroid belts,
Mhm.
2
Well,
astronauts.
we don't know if we're going to be landing next to a group of 1,000 colonists who are going to be violently angry that we arrived, or if we're going to arrive at a ghost town with a barely functioning power plant that's just sort of dying.
Judge points out that he can, with a minor adjustment in our approach to the planet, he could set up an orbit that passes over all three, and perhaps we can get some orbital imagery before deciding where we go to next, if you want, Cap.
That sounds like a great idea. I'm still leaning towards the southwestern, because you said it was a weaker power source. Maybe the one with the stronger power source will actually be able to. No, you said the power source the strongest was
the
the
stronger one's
southwestern,
in
right?
the south.
Yeah. Okay. So that's still the one I'm leaning for, but whatever.
Okay.
So we'll do the Passover. You get the information, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So, because of the orbital approach, and because I know orbital mechanics to some degree, I'm kind of an idiot's guide to orbital mechanics. It does take another couple hours to complete both the maneuver and your initial pass, but you do pick up some orbital imagery, or the equivalent of satellite imagery. The northern settlement, or excuse me, signal source is the first one you see. It is a settlement. It looks like hard scrabble, grabbing local resources. It's not a constructed site. It's more of a grab whatever you can grab and try to turn it into shelter. And it looks to be, best estimate without going down to confirm, 100, maybe 200 people at best. At best.
Okay.
You then pass over the equatorial signal. It appears to be the wreckage of a ship. Let me see. Let me see if I've got the actual class. Let's call it another. I don't know the lore, but let's call it, if you guys are in a Class J exploration ship, let's say the ship that's crashed here is from an older model, like the next most recent model that would have been used in a similar capacity. That's 20 or 30, 40 years older.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just an older small science ship.
Yeah, so a similar design, similar makeup, but it's crashed, and the signal source that you're reading is indeed what appears to be an active reactor. Won't know for sure again until you go down. However, you're getting all sorts of warnings from Daughter about the system, the storm severity. We're talking sub-hurricane level winds, like probably like Cat 1, or is it go up or down in severity for hurricane categories? Goes up. So you're getting like 1 and 2, category 1 or 2 hurricane level winds, if not more, on some of the storms that are projected. The southern signal, where am I? Sorry, give me just a second. My notes are kind of. Oh, nope. That's the psychic valve. I don't want to talk about that. The southwestern signal is a bit more prominent and easier to read or pick up than the one in the north. And it is a hard shabble, like, you could tell they've taken the vegetation and tried to form shantytown type stuff. And probably numbers, if you had to hazard a guess, 200 to 300 people. Your power source does appear to be some sort of rudimentary steam engine, geothermal kind of sort of thing. Think of something like something similar to, not necessarily hydroelectric, but using steam to power engines that provide electricity to the town, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not an engineer of that sort.
You're not an engineer?
Yeah. I'm not an engineer, and I'm not a doctor, damn it.
Well, I've got a recommendation, Captain.
Let's hear it.
We've got a few vehicles on board, including 2 of those smaller buggies.
Yes.
I'd like to minimize risk to the island. I'd like to get dropped off with maybe one other person and go to that crash ship in the buggy. It'll be easier for us to anchor the buggy through a storm if we need to, and we can pick up run the ship.
Do you have any objections to Quintana being in this conversation? Because she's going to volunteer to go with you if she is.
It's a lot of risk for the island for a crash ship. If need be, I can use the radio in the buggy to reach Octavia to pull whatever data we can from the ship. Because the storm, those kind of storms will absolutely fuck the island, and it's not like we have drop ships to do quick drop off and pickups. So
I mean, we do have the science boat and things like that, but
it's not the same thing. Plus, you'd have to lose
No.
another person to pilot it.
good point.
You could drop the. This is Dudge speaking from the flight station, his little pilot seat, looking back over his shoulder, if you will. We could drop the island couple hundred kilometers out during a break of the storm. You can use your onboard GPS to figure out how to get there. Drive up.
Okay.
Hopefully you don't get blown over. And he smirks at you.
It could try.
He just looks at you like, there will be no try. That's 300-kilometer-an-hour winds down there. Listen, I threw out a number. I don't even know if that's physically possible, but just humor me. That's some windy bullshit down there. I don't know what
300
hurricane.
kilometer an hour?
Listen, Rodance will tell you what a hurricane category 2 or 3 winds might
It's
be
about
like. Better than I can.
It's like
Wait,
220
let me just point out
miles
that
per
there
hour.
is indeed a system that rates tornadoes, not just hurricanes.
Well, yeah, it's the Fukushima, or it's F scale, and F4 or 5 is the finger of God. I remember that from
So
Twisted.
that's my recommendation. Minimize risk.
Okay.
Okay.
So who do you want with you?
Katana says, I'll go if can't think of anybody better.
I don't mind. If you want her to go, I'm good with it.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go and recover that ship with a what is she again? She's a
She's a
wildcatter?
prospector.
Okay, so prospector. Prospector and a scout. Prospector and a scout.
I mean, if it's crashed and getting stormed on, it's not lifting off. But we could try to figure out what took it down and take all the data from it, see if there's any survivors hiding in the wreckage.
Yeah, we could
Okay.
maybe recover flight logs or whatever else might be on board. It'll be a quick little in and out sort of thing. And she holds a fist up to Pike.
Yeah, I'll fist bump her. If there's and if there's any survivors, then we can make sure that an evacuation is well timed and well coordinated and much shorter to minimize risk to the island.
Okay. Let me just see something really quickly here.
You've got about an hour or so before the ship comes back around on the next pass. Dudge is already, and he's got. Imagine Dudge is giving you an update, and he's adjusted your orbit so that on your next pass you go back over those 3 sites again. I'm says,
assuming my PDAT has buzzed a couple times.
Yeah.
at
You've
this
been
point.
given data updates.
While they're doing that, I will have walked off and I am starting the gear prep for his buggy expedition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Alright,
I think I am probably one of the more familiar with people with something that he would need to survive in that type of environment down there.
Yep.
With the science background.
Yeah, so
would
Dudge
you
is
mind taking right with you?
We got 4. Let me double check how many seats are in the buggy. I think we have 3 seats.
I think you can get 3 or 4 in there if these are the buggies I think they are.
I think
yeah.
I think they're 3 seat, but yeah, I mean, Pike says, if you want to lead it to go, for sure. I figured if I'm leaving, it's not like you're sending part of your security team while you're hitting unknown people.
Yes, but if the lead is on the ground, that means Luke is on the ground.
Partially.
Yeah, I mean, this just he's
saying.
already Pike's just outwardly like, yeah, I'll take her if you want. I was just he's just voicing a safety concern.
Yeah.
It advances Warren's agenda, and it makes Alita either get screwed over by Pike or
she might be able to get one over on Pike.
Yeah. I mean, it'll work out.
Listen, he's trying to metagame and trying to get all the experience points he can get.
No, absolutely. Pike's
I'm
not
not
saying
metagaming.
no.
It's in
So,
character.
It's
How
in
did,
character metagaming.
How did Matthew enjoy his alarm reminders?
There's yet another one, I'm
you'll-
sure.
You might notice that he's not carrying his PDAT anymore.
It's in a drawer in his office where he isn't.
It's set to
It
vibrate.
might have a bullet hole in it.
So yeah, do you want Alita to go?
I do want Alita to go.
All right. Well, he'll just look over at her and be like, "You've had the survival training. You know what to bring. I'll meet you in the vehicle bay."
Got it. And then she like abouts foot out of there.
I'll head down to the vehicle bay, and I'll go find Octavia, who's packing my car for me.
Well, Octavia is packing the car portion of it. Octavia would expect you to handle your personal gear, and whoever is going with you to handle their personal gear. I'm
Yeah.
doing the survival gear for when shit hits the fan, and for potentially for dealing with problems on the ship.
I'm bringing some stuff with me. I'm bringing one case in particular, not both of them. I'm bringing one case. And like I'll take a look at how you're packing to try to figure out your load plan so I can stick my personal case in there. And then I look
She
around.
has a spot just for your personal case because she's seen it.
Yeah. He'll look around a little bit and sort of try to angle in a way to make sure that nobody sees what he's about to do. And he reaches out to hand you something. It's the size of his hand, and he goes to give it to you.
So it's a microwave?
So do you remember in the Aliens movie when Gorman told everyone to drop magazines, and Vasquez and Drake, they pulled out they disabled their weapons because they couldn't unload them. They pulled out that section to disable the weapons.
It was almost like a battery or something for the power pack or whatever.
That's what I'm giving Octavia, because I didn't want anybody messing with my fucking smart gun, so I disabled it by taking that off. And I've been keeping it on my person so that people can't use my gun against me. But because I'm leaving Octavia here, I'm entrusting her with the ability to use my smart gun.
She takes
the person who specifically isn't allowed to have a weapon, I'm giving the ability to use the biggest gun on the ship.
Okay, so she probably would take it, know exactly what it is, open shirt.
Oh yeah, you absolutely know what it is, because even if you weren't a smart gunner yourself, you've definitely been around others in your time. Yeah. So you know exactly what it is.
Yep, she sticks it in the most secure random pocket that nobody's gonna feel up.
They're not gonna feel up without an SA assault or yeah. Damn it, I
can't.
I'll see you. Guess I'll see you in a few days. Have you already checked the radio on board? Make sure I'll be able to reach you.
Yep. And I even have rigged the radio to have a special. I point out to the radio, and I show him the spot on the back where there's a switch that says off in Sharpie on a piece of painter's tape. Very obviously non-standard.
Yeah. He just nods. He's like, yeah, no, we get each other.
Offer him a small fist bump.
Is this the very special two-way communication specifically between the buggy and Octavia only?
Oh, no, yeah, it turns it.
If I don't want to be found, I can disable the radio without breaking it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. It's the I would like some private time switch, and gotcha. Because I did it, it's not going to just And then I also hand him the box with the backup radio, because you're going into a storm and you want to make sure that's on your person.
Yeah. I'll get some wire cables and pythons, so I can try to secure the vehicle.
Yeah. Quintana definitely. Quintana has prospecting gear that has a lot of that too, so she's bringing her shit. She even has a PDAT with the full detailed meteorological data that you guys have currently, and it does indeed show your expected point of arrival on planet, and that if you hit at that time and drive straight to the crash, you will avoid all the storms until you get there. But once you get there, you'll have to get to shelter pretty fast. And then there'll be a break after that storm, approximately 1 to 2 hours, where you guys will be able to do whatever you're going to do. And then, again, it's rinse and repeat from that point until you want to leave. Other than, obviously, if any weather updates come down. Because that's all based on information you have right now versus once you get to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Of which you are currently orbiting and collecting all sorts of data on. as
Yeah.
you go.
Yep. Well, and I'm making sure they get the extra survival gear in case there's a couple of survivors, all that stuff.
Yep.
Paranoid doomsday prepper level prepared.
Totally fine. You're going on to
She is
a.
more paranoid now and packing extra shit now than she was ever in the Marines.
I think it's because of
Let's
her
be clear.
experience in the Marines that she's thinking to the levels that she's at now. Because there's
Yeah,
nobody to
she
tell.
is above and
Because
beyond
in the
Marine
Marine Corps,
prepared.
you have
She's
a
in
packing
paranoid
list.
doomsday prepper prepared.
Yeah, you have a packing list that tells you you need 6 socks. So then you like, well, it says I'm supposed to bring 6. I want 8 or 10. And now that you don't have anybody telling you specific numbers, you're like, I used to do 10. Maybe I should do 12. No, I'm going to do 15. And then you start snowballing from there.
There's like a desert survival kit for the
Probably 2 or 3
ridiculous
of
high
them.
heat and all kinds of this otherness.
One
like
of those desert
every single
kits.
thing you can think.
One of those desert kits is for low temperature desert.
Exactly.
Yeah, we pack
Just
it
in
up.
case.
I make a while while she's
wall
packing
of
her
bags.
prospector gear. While she's packing her prospector gear, I make a show of checking my weapons, and I wait for Alita to come down.
Yeah, I put in Alita's appearance gear that I'd like her to have. But I'm not really sure if it matters really much if we have like set gear by
Well, it'll
Octavia's
help in
whim.
case you have combat. So
Yeah. So we've got like expedition fatigues, dry boots, free breather,
Yeah.
Kevlar,
So
high beam.
what Wes or what Octavia's focusing on is survival gear and stuff like that. Combat specific gear, other than like a backup rifle and a couple survival knives, is stuff I'm expecting you guys to manage.
No, she just has a revolver anyways. She doesn't have a gun. But she does need some random stuff. Let me just see
I like the
here.
idea that she spins the cylinder and flips the revolver shut, and that's when like Pike racks his sniper rifle. He's like, eh.
you guys go ahead. I'm adding
Happens.
the stuff onto Alita's sheet right now.
I'm taking the thermal boots off because I don't think you need the thermal boots.
Does Emily have a weapon?
If you give me a second, I can look that up. Emily, she has no, but I feel like she can have some sort of rifle if you give me a few minutes.
I feel like she, at a minimum, I would have made sure I would have told her to go get when she
Like a
got down
service
there
pistol?
before she started loading up. I would have told her to go to the armory to go get a pistol, and then I would
At the
hand
very
her
least.
like a thigh sheath survival knife.
Okay, give me a moment. There's a couple more things I got to get through here on this sheet for right. I'm not giving you $875. We can just assume that she's got that.
No, I just wrote that as the maximum that she.
Yeah.
She can
all right, so
spend.
you have all that stuff on there, and then let's see.
Also, that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Let's see. Katana. She's gonna have.
It's my dad's Bowie knife.
You know what? I don't know which pistol in particular. You know what? I'm just gonna give her that one. And she's probably gonna have. Let's see. No, it's not. No.
I'm so ready for to begin banter with Alita. I know exactly where I want to start.
As
I don't know where you're
Katana,
gonna start.
as Katana, yeah, Jesus Christ. As Katana comes down to the buggy with all of her stuff, you'll note that she has a service pistol. She has a what I put a 44 mag on her. I think I put a 44 mag pistol on her side, and she's carrying a rifle case. And stats, I think it's the scoped pulse rifle or scoped rifle or whatever it's called, but it's basically an oversized hunting rifle.
Okay.
Big bore. You know, not quite to the scale of 1800s elephant gun, but you know.
Sure.
It's It's probably got a bore size that's slightly larger than one might expect for your yield standard hunting rifle. What's bigger than a 30-06 for hunting rifles?
So yeah, I'll look at Elite and say, "Are you driving or am I driving?"
I do have to make up for the last time. I'll drive.
right.
Okay, let's see here. Are we starting this particular one?
I just based on time, I think what we can do is actually close up here, and
Dude,
when we
have
return,
we have almost 40 minutes for the time that we
Yeah.
block out for this.
I mean, if you guys
Yeah, I
want
know.
to do some RP, that's cool. But I think as far as major scene progression, I think it might be best to start next week.
Okay, so let's do the banter.
Yeah, if you guys want to do banter.
Well,
But
yeah, I
did-
was under the impression that Luke that you were having to need to leave early. Did that change?
Oh, it always requires me to leave early. However,
He's
I will
having
sit
fun,
here
so he
and
doesn't want to
finish
leave. Sorry, I interrupted.
I don't know.
I am always exhausted.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
I just don't want to. We've been stopping early pretty regularly, and it's been getting earlier and earlier. I don't want us to shortchange a bunch of time that we have blocked out
No,
for this.
That's
you
fair.
know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Actually, so here's what we'll do. If unless you guys have an objection to this, we can have the ship go and touch down to deploy the buggy and the 3. I am going to ask for a drive or whatever this appropriate. I think it's piloting, but whatever the
Piloting,
appropriate
yeah.
skill
Yes.
is. Give me just a standard skill test for Alita driving. She got 2 successes, so you successfully navigate from the drop site to the crash site. You have 1 additional success if you want to do anything silly, like maybe show off and prove Pike that you're better than what your previous outing indicated. Or maybe do it faster.
Yes.
Give you a little more free time, or not free time, but a little more wiggle time for scoping this place out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it faster.
Okay. So
So
you will know.
We start the driving, and when
Mhm.
you start going fast, and Pike's happy with that. He just looks over. He looks over at Alita, and then he just hooks a thumb to the back seat where Emily is, and he's like, "This is Rima going to a crash ship, bringing somebody along. Are you thinking about Ganon too?"
She doesn't know Ganon.
Who's Ganon?
Yeah. Didn't
But
we give you all those files?
Oh right. Didn't your medic or something like keep him from dying?
Oh God, he was horrifically injured. He barely survived that. It was crazy. You
Yeah,
should
I
have
heard like
seen
a
the way
broken neck
he.
and everything.
Yeah, like he hit the tree, and not only did we get the crunch, but he bounced off the fucking tree. It was wild.
I remember that. I remember describing it that way because I was so mad that you guys wouldn't let me kill him.
Yeah, and he's doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
He's having fun with Alita. Like he does. Like he doesn't like Alita, but like he respects her, and he default likes her more than basically anybody else on the ship. So he is friendly.
I want
But
you to imagine that
he's just
Kitana
trying to
is-
have like, and he's trying to freak out Emily as
Oh,
well.
I think what you get is Katana just like rolling her eyes every now and again. She's asking very specific questions in order to keep the story going. Because instead of being freaked
Although
out,
we're
she's
not
actually
leaving
like,
it too
she's
much.
actually like, wait, is this a war story? Tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh.
Come on, I want to know more.
I heard
what's
the
a
medic
fucking-
was real good.
She honestly, I dealt with a lot of medics, and if it had been pretty much any of the others, that dude was so fucking dead. That was some spot work. But no, I remember trying to get him out of there, and we ran into one of the guys that we were dealing with, and he just picked up Ganon and threw him at a tree. Some like fucking gorilla shit. It was insane.
So whatever happened to that medic?
And
Oh, he got shot in the head.
Oh, well, that's wow. What an end to it. Otherwise, it could have been a brilliant career. As she continues to bounce along, not totally oblivious to what really happened.
I heard the last time you guys went to a ship like this, you blew it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Wait, is
hey,
that what's in
yeah.
the case up there? And she's pointing to your sniper. I'm assuming your sniper rifle case.
No. That's
That's messy.
that case is in case we wish we had explosives. But no, I didn't.
Mm,
I don't have
mm.
any. I don't have barrels of QTC laying around. Can you imagine if we did though?
Oh my God, so much explosions.
And
There's so much shit we could
no
do.
room for our bags.
I mean, we could have. I mean, putting them in a trailer is probably suicide. That's a lot of bouncing for QTC.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look,
Yeah.
Emily's probably sitting there kind of crunched into the back with my paranoid packing.
Yeah, I think she's like,
So,
I think she's got
Oh, I got
bags
the
stacked up next to her. She's kind of leaning on them as she's, listening to this story.
I got the perfect segue into remember the time we fell like 40 meters into a cultist den?
Oh, that was honestly, I think that was the first time in my life I genuinely thought I was actually going to die.
What? You thought you were gonna die?
It was that bad. And you know what? In the end, Matt's probably the reason I didn't fucking lose my shit and kill everybody.
Matt, our captain
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah. Iron
Really?
Will Matt.
Iron Will. Does he know you call him that, or do you just?
I've called him that to his face. It was before the prosthetics. Like, so it's not a related nickname.
I
but
always
that's
wondered if that arm and leg were real.
No, I mean they used to be, but they're certainly gone now.
I think she definitely chuckles. You're like, well, they used to be.
That was there when it happened.
What happened?
I
That
don't even remember.
I can't tell you, but it was a bad fucking time.
I don't even remember. Oh, that was on the UPP
Kremlin.
ship. Yeah.
Yeah, the UPP. Yeah.
We mission went bad. Lots of injuries.
The only other time I thought I was gonna die.
I mean, I thought for sure I was going to be the only one left, but I managed to get him out.
Yeah, you managed to get most of us out, if not all of us.
Well,
I don't remember
all
there
of the
being
people got
casualties.
out. Not all of the people got out. Well, yeah. No, I'm saying it right.
No.
All of the people got out, but not all of the people got out.
Everybody lived, but not everything left the ship.
No. He didn't even keep anything as a trophy. Too bad.
Where did you get shot?
Well, it was totally in the chest. Do you remember actually where she got shot?
Was it she got like shot in the foot or something?
She got shot in the foot and the pelvis.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, yeah, I got right here.
Yeah.
He looks. There's the like, yeah, okay, but he says, oh yeah, I mean that was a bleeder. That was real close.
I gotta have my flak vest.
Slowed it down enough.
Yeah, and where do I wanna go with this one?
I want you to imagine this is the moment when Quintana pulls out a sandwich and just starts nibbling. Yeah, and she's listening to you guys go back and forth about this shit. She's fascinated, by the way. This is almost like going to the movies and eating popcorn, but it's a PB&J or something.
So you became a cop, huh?
Yeah, I went through the academy, became a marshal. Decided to put my skills to better use outside of the military to be basically still a grunt.
Or did your was your choice to uphold the law? Is that my fault?
Well, let's not go into specifics here, but I do
Obviously.
remember being sequestered.
Don't hold off specifics on account of me. Munch, munch, munch.
Now, if we told you, we'd have to kill you.
Yeah.
She absolutely rolls her eyes at that. At this point, she's like,
Yeah.
God, not again. If I swear to God, if I had a quarter every time you said that, I'd have 17 quarters, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's that many quarters.
But you can get a drink.
I couldn't get a drink with 17 quarters. What was that, like almost $5?
Yeah. I don't know. Probably more than $5.
It's 4 and a quarter.
17 quarters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 times 4 is 16 plus 1.
Oh, okay.
So you can get an El Cheapo drink from the kiddie menu, maybe.
So Matt told me about a space station, like a radar dish or something. Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me too much about it.
There's an actual moment where like he just sort of stops, and he's definitely just like he's having that nom flashback from him. He's like, yeah, that station.
That was a really bad one for Pike.
Yeah,
He
that was
was
bad for Pike.
definitely was under the influence of something not human at all.
Yeah, I'm not super proud of how that went.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's proud of what happened on that station from what I heard.
No.
Are we almost
But
there? Let's check the
that
map.
hearing about that mission's part of why you became a marshal?
Not just because of that.
Said it was a weird choice.
Well, it was Matt's recommendation. After the core and everything fell apart, me and him kept in contact. He recommended that I go in for policing and things like that. He went in for apparently becoming a captain of a ship. I lost track of him for that 5 second moment where he just decides he's going to do something and then he just does it.
He makes a gesture like throwing a knife, and he's like, he has no impulse control.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like him. But here we are, I guess.
Yep. So you pull up on this spaceship. Off in the distance, I want you to imagine it's pretty sunny out, right? Like there's some clouds or whatever, but you're in the equatorial region of the planet, so there's lots of sunlight. It is hot as balls out there, and then some. Stiff winds, stinging, blowing sand, of course. In the far distance, you can see the storm is starting to brew already. Safe estimate, you've got about an hour and a half to 2 hours before it hits. And it looks like, based on your meteorological data, wind speeds are going to be ridiculous, like triple digit, and then some ridiculous.
Right, you want to secure the vehicle to the side of the wreck so it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, let me see what I've got.
You can,
And
as you pull up, you realize
figure
like
that
there's a
out.
couple of like spots where you can
Winches and
kind of,
things.
yeah, you could definitely do some like wiggle waggle combat parking in such a way that you can use the hull of the ship to try to block some of the incoming wind. But obviously, it's going to be a lot of swirly wind too, so it's not just going to be coming predominantly from one direction. But you could definitely try to park in a way to minimize some of that.
Yeah, and I brought steel
Okay.
cables and pipe
Yeah.
so you could basically attach it to the side of the ship.
Yep.
I'm going to take my case while you're pulling out cables and doing all that. And yeah, Alita watches. I have those memories where Pike is like he takes off his jacket and stuff, so he's just in his t-shirt and in his cargo pants at this point,
In the
and
glistening sun.
in the glistening sun, because we got to get more.
We got to get one
more
shot at
glistening
least
scenes
with
of
Pike with shirtless every
and
episode.
Pike puts on his armor.
Oh shit. Okay. Katana is like,
Alita kind of nods and goes, "All right, fine."
okay, that's
Oh yeah, it's got like the the whole with the don't ain't got time for it and everything. The armor art, Queen Slayer and all that. Like
It's like, which
yeah.
is probably something
I think she
Katana's
sees
like,
the Queen Slayer bit. She's like, "What's that all about?"
classified.
yeah, it's classified.
God damn it! You and your classified bullshit. All right.
Alita looks at her armor. It's just a flak vest, and she's like, "I feel naked."
And
Yeah, because you have the store bought bullshit. He's got the actual Marine Corps armor.
How did you? You know what? I don't even care.
you know what, Lawman? You don't want to ask that question.
Lawman.
And he'll just do like the back of the hand to the chest as like a friendly, like, really don't ask, but I'm not being a dick.
Yeah, Matt said to not ask, but she just thinks that in her head.
We should probably get inside in case that storm's off track and gets here a little early. If the ship's been here this long, it's not going anywhere.
No, but let's hopefully not find anything unpleasant in there.
Yeah. Here is, and I'll hand you this the backup radio that I got from Octavia. It's on the same frequency mine's on, and he taps the helmet.
Okay. I lost my screen there. Okay, cool. Yeah, because you have your helmet thing,
Yeah, the helmet cam, helmet, boom mic, and radio.
helmet radio, heads up
Yeah.
display, whatever.
All right.
I'm going to sneak. I'm going to look around for a cracked section of the hull, or like like a busted open airlock or something, and I plan to stealth my way onto the ship.
It's easy. So easy, you don't even need to make a skill roll. There's a couple of gaping holes from the crash itself, it looks like, leading into some of the corridors of the ship. It's definitely, it's like if, the Magellan is a Class J, it's almost like this is the Class I, for lack of a better way to explain it. Like, it's got similarities and familiarities, but it's also a unique floor plan that, every now and again you expect a wall to be there and it's not, or a corridor or a turn is there when you're not expecting one. It is filthy in here. And by filthy, I mean it's just layers upon layers of dust and dirt, windblown debris. There are a few bodies, but a lot of them look like they have been desiccated, dried out. Some look like they may have even been chewed on by some insects before the weather eventually overtook the decay and decomposition. Otherwise, unless there's a specific area of the ship you're trying to get to, there's really not much of note here.
I'm checking for signs of life.
Dead. Everything you see is dead. The ship has the most minimalist of power, as if the reactor was online, but in like low power saving mode. So minimal lights, absolutely like low level lights. In fact, you'll have to turn on either NVGs or your helmet lights in order to be able to see.
I have infrared.
There you go.
I have high beam flashlight.
There you go. So you can make your way through without too much problem, but nothing like you kind of have to physically open the doors, but once they give a little bit, you could see that, okay, now the hydraulics kick in because they haven't been worked in a while. Things like that. So getting through doors is a bit of a challenge. It takes some time. After about an hour or two, about an hour and a half, you get the ominous feeling of, the first thing you notice is the air pressure drop. It's a significant drop because of the storm.
Can I check for anything going on with the seaborne detection kit?
Sure. You don't have to roll. Nothing is coming up. It's all clean.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I mean, if anything, you're going to pick up. You have a nuclear reactor, whatever kind of reactor they have. So whatever waves it would give off is being picked up, but it is not in any sort of like lethal range or anything.
Okay.
Again, it's in very low power mode. The storm hits. You hear the wind howling through the corridors that are exposed, but like the deeper inside the ship you go, the less likely it is that or the less prominent it is. But you could definitely feel the storm is hitting. I assume all three of you are inside.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're perfectly fine from the storm.
So I guess I'll find a room that's intact and like central, and I feel like is going to be the safest from the storm. And kind of the quietest, and I'm gonna basically set up camp there and just sort of gesture for Emily and be like, hey, we're going to be here for a while. If you want to, this will sort of be our headquarters while we're here.
Okay. Yeah, she takes a little bit. She probably takes like 10, 15, 20 minutes setting up like I think among other things, she, setting up, dropping some of the gear that she's been carrying. She does set up some sort of, a couple of PDATs and like a dry erase tablet or something like that. She starts setting up some sort of mapping setup so she can kind of map the progress of like where in the ship you guys have been and where you're going to go next, and try to figure out what the floor plan. And she's like, well, we should probably see if we can find the flight box or flight logs. The ship's probably had some sort of armory. Maybe we want to grab that. There may even be a ship's vault, cargo hold, worth checking out. We'll have to see what is on the flight logs. Maybe shut down the power before we leave, just to make sure it doesn't go into wrong people's hands. I don't know what the people on this planet are capable of, but maybe not having access to potentially nuclear weaponry or explosive reactor type stuff.
Well, good news is
Well, unless you have been, Alita, I don't think either of us have ever been on this kind of ship. But we have enough ship seizing training that we know the top spots to find a black box. So
All right. Well, I think that should probably be, if not the priority, that definitely in the top 2 or 3. So basically, flight logs, manifest, data, armory, reactor, and anything else that
since
comes up.
since you sent in cop school, did they teach you any more Comtech?
No, I'm still a dum dum.
I'm still
Yeah.
still computer illiterate.
Yeah. Emily, how good
I'm
are
gonna
you
check the
with
med bay.
how good are
Yeah.
you with computers, Emily?
That's a good question. What's compact? Oh, wits. So I know my way around a computer if we can maybe get the reactor to give us a little more juice.
All right.
Well, I mean, we can do a remote with Westcott.
From the flight
We-
deck. Oh, well,
really,
yeah, we can get a
I
hold
mean,
of her, but I don't know
we
what the
gotta-
captain's
Get a
got
hold
them
of her.
doing. They're
We-
probably down at the other site by now.
Yeah, I mean, once the storm passes, well, we can see if we can get the comm equipment in here running to link to the island. That's really what we need to do. Accessing the black box and stuff is going to be Octavia, but
Wright is going to check for the med bay, while I guess you guys can check for the armory and the black box.
yeah, I'm gonna try to get those, check the top places for the orientation and size of the ship for a black
Okay.
box while you check
I'm gonna
medical.
follow the green arrows to the med bay.
And Pike's fallen back into form. He's doing the exact same regular location updates that you remember from being with him in the Corps.
What is Pike looking for anything in particular?
The black box.
Okay, so you're gonna go with either Katana or follow her guidance. It's not what she comes up with.
I'm gonna ask her to see what. I'm gonna ask her to look at the comm array and see what she might need us to find in order to get that working.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we can start our next session with figuring out where everything is aboard this crash ship, and then figuring out
Okay.
what the rest of the crew is doing, where you're going, and whatnot. I will tell you this. I think we get kind of like a camera pull out from the crash ship, spin around, zoom out, and back down to the southern site. And there we see... Whoop, that's not the window I wanted.
And now, when we resume with the rest of the crew, the two of us are hours in the future.
You arrived at... The rest of you, so this would be Warren and everybody else, arrives at the southern facility or southern location. On
Mhm.
approach, it definitely looks like it is the roughest ramshackle hodgepodge, whatever you could fit together to create 4 walls and a roof sort of deal. Towards the center of the settlement is what looks like wreckage taken from another ship or maybe vehicles or something like that. But this is, instead of being made out of like local vegetation, it's made out of something a bit more sturdy, like local metals, things of that nature. It's still ramshackle, right? It's still hodgepodge put together bullshit, but it's a 2-story building. So you have the first floor and an entrance, and then there's like a set of stairs with a balcony ringing the second floor. And that's kind of like how it looks like that's another way to get into the second floor. And as the ship comes down and you're landing a few hundred meters away, all you can see is a throng of people gathering in your direction, like looking like they're coming out to see you and whatnot. But then you see one somewhat larger individual making his way through the crowd. He's noticeably larger. And to be clear, he's not Pike size, but he's noticeably larger than the rest. And he is carrying what looks like a legit, no shit, medieval era mace. And it's big. He's got it hoisted up on one shoulder. And as he makes his way to the front of the group, waiting for the ship to finish landing, and maybe we could see like somebody on the flight crew up in the bridge looking down at this throng of people a few hundred yards in front of the ship with this dude and his massive mace. We just see him standing there with a, not a cowboy hat, maybe more like a, I don't know hats that well, so it's gonna be like, just think like desert survival. Yeah, something kind of like that. Yeah. He's got that hat. He's got his mace, and he just stops, and he like takes a stance with his feet shoulder width apart, drops the head of the mace down between his feet, and rests his hands on top of it, just standing there, almost defiantly, waiting for you to come down and greet. And that's where we'll end it. Let's talk experience points. Obviously, you get one for participation. Congratulations. You showed up. You get a point.
Participation trophy.
Yes. Did you risk or sacrifice something? I don't think we really did. Certainly no sacrifices were made. Don't think we really had any risks.
Not yet.
Did you risk your life for your buddies? Like barely, maybe? That's really questionable.
Because I was trying to set it up to take Octavia on this fucking stupid quest. So I think
Yeah,
if
why
anything, I
didn't-
worked against it.
Anybody else? I don't think we really had much of that. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival? I think we had a moment where Pike and Wright are no longer quite so rivalry. They're almost friends again.
I
Maybe?
removed her as my rival.
You did remove her?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, that makes sense. I wasn't going to push it unless it happened again, so.
No, we just didn't have the time to sit down and have like a are we good conversation, and
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
an are we good?
I think you ended
I
up
said,
with
all
it.
right, cool.
Yeah,
we
I
don't
think
have
you-
a problem, then we don't have a problem. Cool.
You definitely ended up with a, yeah, we're good, without the are we good part.
Yeah.
We didn't have any panic rolls. We also didn't have very many rolls, so that's fine.
No.
Dangerous events, didn't have any of those. Significant discovery, not yet.
I mean, we're dodging hurricanes and driving in a buggy and fucking suicide.
You know what? Actually, I take that back. So I guess the risk there, so the three that went on that, the two player characters, Pike and Wright, you guys could take that for the risk because you did have to make a driving roll for that, but you passed swimmingly.
Yeah, there was a chance that we got picked up by a equatorial storm and smashed into the rocks until
Yes,
we died.
there could have been.
The whole point of him suggesting that the buggy go instead of the island was because of how dangerous it is.
Yeah. We haven't had any significant discoveries yet. We haven't really had any extraordinary actions yet, and you have not earned any pay yet. So unfortunately, not a lot of experience, but had some great role play.
I think we set
You know what?
something down.
I'll tell you what. Everybody go ahead and take 2 experience for some awesome role play. I think I can get away with doing that. And you know what, Free League, if you don't like it, boycott me.
Mm.
I think we had some pretty good role play tonight, so I feel like I can get away with awarding 2 additional experience points just for shits and giggles.
Okay.
All right. Feedback, outro, comments. Let's start with Rodance. What do you got for us? You're muted, in case you forgot.
You wanna know why I'm muted?
Are you yelling at your cats, or are you yelling at me?
I'm that far through putting things on a decorative thing. And it makes a
Oh.
click noise every time I push it
Ah.
in. So
It makes me
Yeah.
think cats right now. Is that something cat related or totally
it
off
is a
mark?
cat outline.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
Let's see.
Oh, nice.
I've discovered that I do much better when I have something for my hands to do. So I figured this would be it.
That's
It's
fair.
literally just punching Legos onto a board. So
Yeah.
I figured it would let me pay attention and keep my hands busy.
Yeah.
It's just that I moved and I don't know people up here. So it's the I have an entire drawer over here of just hobby things to do. Like
Yeah.
I have a punch kit, like a carpet punch kit with like
Mhm.
another design on it. I have a shadow box to paint, stuff like that.
There you go. And I'm
Keeps
sure
me
you'll
from
make
getting-
friends eventually.
Yeah, you will.
I have one of these to do.
Oh, nice.
Is that like a diorama sort
It's a
of thing?
diorama
Okay.
Yeah.
of like it's a Miller's garden.
Okay.
So it's like the outside like balcony garden area.
Okay.
It's stuff like that.
You gotta stay busy, because otherwise,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
the
can't
saying is idle hands are the devil's workshop. I'm not trying to go on the religious bent, but there is a certain
idle
element of truth
hands
to
are
that.
that I dropped $200 at Michael's and I need to not keep doing that.
Yes, yes. Definitely that. But you know what? Listen, if you drop $200, you drop $200. It's what you do with the $200 of stuff.
As long as
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not credit, it's sort of okay.
It's slightly better.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like I budget a certain amount of money into entertainment, and
Yeah.
I guess I
Right.
just now,
Absolutely.
well, like I have like more drawing supplies. I bought paper, stuff like
Mhm.
that, like too.
There you go. And it really does boil down to like you got to keep yourself busy, not like overloaded, but doing stuff because you have to be engaged. Otherwise, it's just you sitting there staring at four walls, and nobody wants to do that.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And
All right.
plus, this is something I can do while paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. If it helps you
There's a
focus, it
whole
helps
long
you
list of
focus.
hobbies that if you just are doing the same repetitive motion over and over again,
Yep.
it's not hard.
Yep. Anything else,
Nope.
Luke? Feedback, outro comments. What do you got, my friend?
Oh, right. From the start of the session, I wanted to say this, and I forgot, but
Yep.
it is finally toque season because it reached like uh, what is 4 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? Like
4 degrees. Probably gonna be like 35 to 40.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah. So it's finally toque season. So now I'm wearing toques. Also,
go.
I think the session went really well. I half-ass prepared for it.
Well, that's. I mean, as a player, you don't have a whole lot to prep other than like, oh, what do I want my character to get after this time? It's usually the GM.
No, but I mean, like,
but it helps. It helps.
yeah, it required me getting ahead of certain things a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it definitely helps, especially when. Excuse me. It definitely helps, especially when your character or when you want your character to do specific things or have certain
Mhm.
responses to certain things already in place. So thinking ahead, because you can always play it reactionary, right? Like, oh, the GM threw this at me, so this is what my character's going to do. But putting a little thought ahead or putting a little bit of thought into it ahead of time is never a bad thing for a player because you can anticipate some of those things, or it's your story
Yeah,
as
I
well as it
think
is mine. So
yeah, and I think the major part wasn't that I was going to script everything. It was okay, now I have to like think what is anticipating your next move.
yeah,
As like Alita won't really think of what your next move is, or as the captain's next move is, but like Wright has to think like, okay, no, Warren has to think like what is the next goal
yeah.
ahead
What's
of
the next
time.
major event that I need to be prepared for as the captain, and
Yeah,
how do I want it to
and
go
as
versus
his
how's it really
dialogue
going to go?
was yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Kane, feedback outro. What do you got?
Dude, did you get psychopath vibes off of Pike?
Not at all. Not even a
Me?
little bit.
I like how much that
I tried
conversation
really
was
hard.
like.
I tried
I
really
like how
hard to get
much of
under
that
Pike's skin.
conversation. I, I like how much that conversation was like. So tell me about the things you feel bad about. Him being like, my brain don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Brain don't do that.
I mean, that was so my tactic was to find things that makes Pike emotionally reactive, and he doesn't have anything that puts him like that. And now mind you, I had to keep it within the constraint of what would uh, Monroe Lakota Monroe, what would she know? How would she be able to push those buttons? Because that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get a read on his psyche, and turns out there's nothing there to read, which makes him a psychopath.
Mm.
Yeah, like she doesn't know enough to be able to push any of the buttons that make
Yes.
him like to get him to get angry or anything like that. Her like his animosity towards her is very pragmatic. She hasn't done anything personally to him.
Yeah.
It's just what she represents by being who she is on the ship. So I thought that was interesting. I'm kind of surprised that she didn't try to get answers out of the captain to try to like prepare for round
Not
2
yet.
or contextualize anything or
I think her next step is to just continue observing Pike maybe confer with Warren, who she feels that she can talk to about Pike, but obviously to a limited degree because of patient confidentiality, right? But because she has that rapport with the captain, both professionally and at least to some degree personally, she can kind of bounce ideas off of him about what to do with Pike in order to maybe expose some of those other most deeply buried things and cause the ship to die, basically.
And Warren doesn't see there being a huge problem.
With her talking to him about Pike?
No, but yeah, no, I mean with Pike being an existing member
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
crew.
yeah. Well, no, because I would imagine to Warren, Pike is something of a, not necessarily father figure, but certainly a mentor and now shared traumatic experience. Brothers in arms,
I mean,
sort of
it's
thing,
as much as like as much as Pike is solidly a villain. Like he for the Marine campaign, he genuinely put in the effort to try to change and teach everybody
Mm-hmm.
what they needed in his mind to survive.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like more than once, Warren can probably remember off the top of his head more than one occasion where he is only alive because Pike was there to teach him something, or literally like killed everything around him to make sure that they couldn't kill his boy. Like it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there was also
And there's a
like
respect there.
and there was also like the like easy to remember instances where Pike clearly showed favoritism to Warren.
Well, because Warren, amongst everybody else, was the one that tried the hardest to more or less be like Pike. Westcott certainly tried, but over time got there and then kind of fell off.
Yeah,
Right?
because I don't think Warren ever had overkill or anything like that.
Sounds about right. I think Rodance
Yeah.
is about to disagree with what I just said. I'm not sure. He's muted again.
Yeah, I
And
just am giggling because I'm heavy.
Uh-oh.
And then there was no light.
I think we're about to lose her.
And
I
then-
think they just lost.
No, my iPad is connected to the what in the world?
Well, fortunately, we're
So
near
my
the end.
iPad is
So.
connected to the Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to
Okay.
figure out why all the lights in my room just blipped.
Hmm.
The call is coming from inside the house. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I love that we all all three of us froze and
Yeah, I was like, ooh, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think Pike is trying really hard to like he is trying really hard to become part of the crew, but
in his own way and on his own terms.
But in his own way, and he fully expects that like there's a clear divide in the ship and that it will continue to be a clear divide in the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think if any of the Marines decided that Pike was a problem, that would completely blindside him.
Ooh.
Because he'd just be like, there's no way that Warren would think that I'm a problem.
Yeah.
Like I saved his fucking life.
Yeah.
I
They
taught
owe
him
me.
everything.
Why would
he
they think
needed-
I'm the problem?
Well, not from
Yeah.
like an O thing, but like I saved his life. I taught him everything he needed to know to survive all the bullshit we were in. He watched other people crumple.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have what I gave him. So we're on the same level. Why would he have a problem with me? We are on the level together. He rose to the occasion. So, and same thing with the others. He feels bad about Octavia because he thinks that what she needed to survive is what's breaking her. So on the one side, he doesn't regret it. He doesn't regret abusing her like he did because she's alive.
Well, yeah.
And he
Well,
thinks
because
that's why she's alive.
especially in Pike's brain, that was a means to an end. It was necessary that those things happen, especially to Octavia. If they didn't, she wouldn't have made it.
Right. He's just frustrated because now, in his mind, the reason that Octavia is falling apart is because she's not in the danger to get the benefit from all of that. and he kind of feels a kinship with that because he's also super frustrated with not just being like, wake up and kill people, go back to sleep, wake up and kill people, go back to sleep. And he's like, the fuck am I supposed to do with my time? Like, I at least
Yeah.
I was raised in these cycles, so I know I have some tolerance for things like I have to go do training or whatever, or I need to be awake to be on guard duty or inspect ships or something in a high risk area where it's longer periods of boredom where my existence isn't being well utilized. He doesn't know how to teach Octavia that.
Right.
I
Yeah,
have a
and
question.
Yeah.
that's not the fundamental problem with Octavia either.
No, but that's what
Not
Pike thinks.
necessarily.
What was your question, Luke?
My Warren's personal agenda was to integrate Pike back into society.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering how many times has any of this basically worked? Because I don't think I've gotten a single experience points from it, but mostly because I've never really made it like
I think I see what you're going with. I think in order for it to count for the experience point gain and or completing the goal, Warren has to be actively seen trying to reintegrate. Now, it can be argued that he has been attempting to, but it's a lot of it's kind of falling by the wayside because, like, if anything, Rodance did something to try to get him socialized by
Rodance
giving
is
him
doing more,
the background history.
Yeah.
Warren has kind of been running around and maybe trying to do things, but none of it specifically, conspicuously shows him trying to put Pike back into the framework of society.
I think I messed up. I think I took away some opportunities for you by trying to do this because Pike wanted to get away from the crew. He's expressly going against your agenda right now.
Yeah,
but I think
and that's part of the push and pull of agendas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something that I'm trying to figure out how to make it happen organically with the way that Pike thinks. But I think there's an excellent opportunity for Matt and Heath to sit in a room and be like, all right, I will teach you what I know about leadership, and you teach me what I need to know for people to not be afraid I'm going to murder them all the time, and have this like symbiotic
Step number
mentorship.
1: stop telling people that you're going to murder them if you ever find a good reason.
Well, I think it presents an interesting opportunity because both characters are over their head in something that the other one can help with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think
that's gonna be
been
really
the dynamics
hilarious.
up until now.
I think a good time for that
your
will
agenda
be
to try to get that meeting to happen where you like I'm trying to think of how Heath would approach this because he's trying to respect your new position.
I think
But I think if we have that meeting where we sit down and we're like, hey, I can teach you about leadership, and having Matt be like, look, I need to teach you how to be a crewman. Like this is not a fire team.
I think the best way to go about this, at least getting the initial sit down started, is for Pike to become aware of a time when Warren makes one of his first mistakes, as we discussed last week. So I don't want to give away too much of what we discussed. I want to let that show up inherently or intrinsically. But given what we talked about last week off air, once one of those sorts of things happens, especially with what's coming up in the next session or two, and Pike finds out about it, he's just going to be like, my next stop is to see the captain. And it's going to be at his office, and he doesn't have a choice. I think that's the kind of organic way for that to happen, given what I see now versus what I see coming.
That's kind of what I was thinking right now, is to like, when we reunite and I go, I'm going to ask Octavia about everything that happened, whether she feels like it or not, I'm going to ask. And if she tells me about something that he did that's like nuts, or just like,
it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean he did that? Yeah.
Then it might be the like, hey, I'm going to put myself on your schedule and Octavia's going to make sure it's your next appointment. So he can be like, hey man, like, you've earned this, but what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And I think Pike may have already been somewhat aware of previous moments where he probably expected Warren to step up and he didn't, but it hasn't been a chance for him to talk about it one-on-one. Whether it hasn't come up in conversation or he just hasn't thought about it. For instance, when he kind of froze and lost his shit with the Parkers and the whatever, the other family, the fucking Capulets and Montagues. I don't remember.
Yeah, the Capulets and Montagues.
I'm glad somebody caught that reference.
I mean, that one wasn't so bad because while he did freak out, like the situation stayed under control
Yes.
and we ended up with a good outcome. So he was like, whatever. He was mad. I get that. You know?
Yes, but now you take that moment and you add it to other
Right.
moments that are happening along the way, and you're like, maybe I should sit down with him.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
think of a way for, trying to figure out a way to without changing anything about Heath to get to where he's like, okay, like the way this is supposed to work is he's supposed to ask me for things because he's
Yeah.
an officer, he's a captain.
Yep.
But he needs his NCO now.
Oh yeah,
This
definitely.
is
Definitely. All right.
Mhm.
Any
Okay.
final thoughts to add before I wrap it up?
I still expect Octavia's going to be the one who goes crazy first, but we'll see how it turns out.
I'm waiting. I can't wait. Well, I mean, I can't. I have to wait, but whatever.
I
You're gonna have
honestly,
to.
I do think because Pike does such a good job of working with the rest of the group, I think it's going to be Octavia who snaps first.
It's so funny that Pike, the least likely to be the people person, is being the people person and talking with.
Honestly,
I mean, you were the one that got the achievement by talking with all the other crew members.
honestly, one of the big things about Matt was that he's so out of his element right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love
Yeah.
it. I love
And
it.
how long have we been on the ship now? Like a good couple
A
months,
few
right?
months. Yeah, a few months overall. I mean, you spent a large portion
While
of that time
sleeping.
sleeping, but yeah, overall probably a few months, if not more.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, that is it for us here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please consider smashing all the buttons, liking, subscribing, sharing, etc., etc. Also, if you enjoy hanging out with us, you can join our Discord community. The link for which you can find during a live stream by typing !Discord into the stream chat. That will give you our Discord server invite, or you can find it in the video description below if you're watching us on YouTube. That said, let's get out of here. Stay safe, my friends. This world is a crazy dark place. I have had to stop myself from talking about it multiple times. So make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. As for me and mine, we're out of here. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.